What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But there's hope. And to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today. It's go time. What's going on, family? Welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. When they go and introduce the crew, we got Mr. Trev Smooth, AJ, M. White, Chanel, Ruth, T, Law, me, myself, I'm Lapeef, JR. Welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all
What's
doing?
going on? Good. How are you?
Okay, AJ, coming right out the gate.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Love to hear that. Good to see you guys, man. Happy Thursday to all that is tuning in. Before we get the show started, I am going to get the housekeeping out the way. Shout out to the sponsor, T. Shanley, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 40% off. 40% off with a gift, and you get 20% off for life if you become a member. So click that link that's in the description and fill a TEJ. If you guys don't know what TEJ is, it is men skincare. It's our own system that we adopted. You don't have to use your woman products no more because we have our own product, and TEJ is the way to go. We also got something for the beards. If your beard is not connecting, patchy, struggling with it, it's not soft. If your woman is complaining that she can't rub her fingers through there, this is Assured Man King on top. We do have a 2-pack. So for you guys that already got it going on, you can go ahead and get the balm, the oil. You can kind of switch it up a little bit. But I strongly suggest, because there's a lot of brothers out there that's not taking care of their beards. They're just waking up doing the bare minimum. You don't have to think about it no more. This is a system right here for you. It has everything you need. Click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat. And it's also in the description if you are watching this on the replay. Shout out to everybody that's watching on the replay, man. We do have a lot of people that go back to view this. So salute to you. We want to thank you. I know you guys can't be active for whatever reason, but we do appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're just waiting to see what this is about, hit the like button later. My apologies. We got AP Accountability Partner is in the chat already. Mr. BX87, Tony Robinson, Dale Matthew. We got Bronum, BZE. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. My apologies if I didn't. Saying you one. Shout out to everybody, man. If you want to become part of Green Gang, that is a member, click that link that's in the description as well and go green. I do plan on doing a little bit more when it comes to the members, just to show my appreciation to you guys. And I just want to say thank you for being longtime members. And if you're new, welcome. How y'all doing, panel?
I'm doing good.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what type of temperature is going to be. Are y'all going to be dry? Y'all going to be timid? Are y'all going to be trying to gauge?
No, we're going to be wet today.
Okay.
No. What the?
Oh, all right.
I don't know what that's about, Trev, man, but something might be a personal. Somebody get him a diaper, y'all. And somebody get him a pad. Might need that one. But anyhow, man, we're gonna go ahead and get this show started again. Thank you guys for tuning in to Lapeef Let's Talk. Just trying to figure out what's going on. Got these messages coming through. You guys, news just broke not too long ago about Judge Mathis.
Nah.
Yeah, man. Apparently, Judge Mathis and his wife split. Well, they're splitting.
Damn.
They are splitting, man. So just a little context, man. Judge Mathis is going to have a judge in his life now because his wife just banged the gavel on their marriage. TV judge wife Linda belonged to the court Thursday and filed to divorce Judge Mathis after 39 years of marriage. They had 39 years of marriage, and his wife filed for divorce. According to docs obtained by TMZ, Linda listed dates of separation as July 17th. So they've been separated since July 17th. And they had differences. That's the reason for the split. There are no minor children involved there, which is also a good thing. So no need to hash out custody and child support. Judge Mathis and Linda have 4 kids during their marriage, but they're all over 18 years old. And Mathis is even a grandfather now. I'm still tripping off that 39 years. I wonder what happened. Linda is asking for spousal support, and she checked the box. And she checked the box to block the court's ability to award Judge Mathis spousal support. Unclear if there's a prenup involved. Judge Mathis and Linda got hitched way back in June of 1985, a couple of years after Judge Mathis graduated college and 14 years before his reality court show first aired on TV. That's interesting, man. That's interesting. I know we often promote marriage, but I don't know if it's shocking to you guys, but it's like every time we look up, and because these are celebrities, it's easily for us to identify people breaking up at an older age unless it's real close to us. But we promote marriage, but are you blaming folks for being afraid to marry? I mean, marriage is unpredictable unless you're willing to put the work in and hold on to it. But I didn't see that one coming. There's a lot of folks that I haven't seen come as far as them being separated. So should we even be promoting marriage still? Have things switched up for you guys? No. Is everybody operating in fear? I'm just wondering, like, what 39 years of marriage? If you guys been in it that long, you might as well go ahead and just stick it out. I mean, how much more life do you got left? Is it really that bad?
I have a theory. He came out against Kamala and they showed some pictures and now they divorced. That's just my theory.
They tried to blackmail him and he ain't go, and they dropped the pictures on his wife. That's what you're saying, Ruth?
Ruth, what are you saying? We're not really understanding what it is you're saying.
I said 1 minute he coming against Kamala and the next minute, I feel like they showed the wife some pictures like the way you were seeing on TV. And she was like, "Oh, you was doing all this behind my back," and they were done. They was quiet all this time. As soon as he speak out against her, listen, the PI was doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
He also did kind of retire recently, so he's not on top anymore. That happened to a lot of men. Once they get to the twilight of their career, females start checking out.
Wait, what?
I think that could have a lot to do with it.
You said that because
Hey.
he ain't on top of the judge show, she divorced him. Trev, knock it though.
Could have easily been. Could have
Black
easily
consumption.
been.
Nah, you
Yeah.
know what I think it was? I think it's more so like the Tom Brady deal. You ain't at work all the time no more. You both at the crib. That shit didn't last long. They was tired of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, as soon as Tom Brady retired and actually sat at home, he was divorced.
I think Ruth's screen is frozen because her face is still the same.
He kind of got bagged because he wouldn't retire. He was supposed to like retire, and then he didn't. And then she was like, "All right, that's it." She got with the trainer.
Yeah, man. It's
But he was at the twilight of his career, so.
Man,
yeah. This is one of them things that just kind of caught me off guard, man. So, are you guys still saying that we should promote marriage for the folks that do agree?
yes.
Why
Yes.
so?
You know I believe. I mean, I
Okay.
think
Well, then why so? For the people that's watching, why do you think marriage is still a good deal?
When you look at the
I'm a big-
benefits.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. You look at the benefits. I mean, their kids got raised in a 2-parent household the whole time. They were together. That's a whole grown adult. If the first kid, came in like, early on in the marriage, so they got grandkids together. Everything's intact. They just don't get along anymore, and people just get tired of each other after a while. They think something better is out there. I know people that was married for 40 years. You always bring up divorce, like, because you feel like that's going to threaten somebody, and one day you just pull the trigger and you didn't really expect it, and it might be rolling the wrong way, and just can't get past it. And so sometimes people don't really mean to get divorced, but they went too far, and that's what happened. But I still believe in marriage. I think that it's a beautiful thing.
And then for the people that are afraid, that's living in fear of marriage, what would you tell them, Ruth?
You're afraid to drive, but you drive every day. You're afraid
That's
to
true.
fly, but you fly every day. So
Afraid of having an STD, but still having sex.
there you go. Afraid of having kids. You're saying F them kids, but you're still banging them. So you're afraid of a lot of things, but you just got to take the chance, and hopefully it'll work out for you. So many other people that marriage did work out for, so can't just take
None
one.
of those things are actually as scary as marriage, right? None of those things you mentioned have.
You can die from death. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
but I'm talking about the probabilities, right? None of them have the propensity to fail like marriage does, right? If we said, okay, you said flying, right? If we said, all right, well, there's a 50% chance you're going to crash, nobody would fly. If you said there's a 50% chance that you're going to crash, nobody would drive, right?
Wait, whoa. Do more people die in car accidents than get divorced?
I don't think you heard what I said. I said if there was a 50% chance of you dying when you drive, would you do it?
Yeah. Well, the reason I was using that comparison because it's not like they married every day and you do every day is 50-50 is a divorce. He was married for 39 years, so that's like 400,000 days, and then one day it was divorce. It's the same with a car. You drive a car 400,000 days, and one day it's a crash. That's you see what I'm saying?
But it's a 50% chance of it failing. It's a 50% failure rate is the problem. If it was a 50% failure rate, and that's what we're going by, a failure rate, then most of us wouldn't do any of those things.
But why are we going by that? Who said that?
Why?
Yeah,
well, I'm
why-
just telling you that.
You
I'm
just
telling you
made it
that
up,
that's
and then
that's
you
why
went
it's a
with
scary
it.
thing, because that's what it is. It literally is a 50% failure rate in marriage, right? So it's a scary thing.
But it depends
So-
on how you look at it. Just like you can
No,
look
I'm
at
not
the way
saying-
Marcus looks at it.
Why would I look at it like that? I'm looking at the numbers. It's a 50% failure rate, so it's a scary
you
thing.
married?
It's not for everyone. I am married.
Okay. Would you stay
I am married. But what I'm saying is, so what we're saying is the people who are afraid of it, listen, if you are afraid of it, then you should be cautious about it. We can't approach marriage as we did back in the day. We have to look at it differently. You have to vet like crazy right now because it's likely to fail. It's a dangerous thing, and it's particularly for men because of the court system and how they're set up. It's not set up for us to win at all. Men lose everything when they go through a divorce. That's a problem.
Well,
The juice ain't worth the squeeze. So what I'm saying is that there are
Women are
some
losing that now. It's upgraded a little bit. The women are losing everything in marriages now, in divorces,
not
and they're paying a
statistically,
lot of money.
not statistically. Are you talking about
That's
anecdotally?
You can
'Cause
read, you
definitely
can
not
watch the
statistically.
statistics. The statistics are definitely there.
it's
They're
absolutely
definitely
not.
there.
Where women are losing a lot, women are losing like men.
Oh,
I don't
women
think
are
so.
paying a lot of money. Yes, they are.
No,
Women
they're
are
not.
paying a lot of money in alimony, pay a lot of money in child support, and men are getting custody of the kids.
The number
That's wrong. It's still like 90%.
that is not the
What we talking
numbers
about?
don't the
That's
numbers
not
don't
wrong.
support that.
That's not
right.
wrong.
So
It's
so
not
listen,
wrong. I don't know what
right.
numbers
If
you're looking
70%,
for, but there's
listen,
definitely numbers there that prove that women are paying a lot of money. I
listen.
am listening, but I was still talking too.
You can't.
So
All right. Here we
all
go.
I was saying
Let's
was I
get it.
don't know what numbers you're looking for, but there is statistics out there that the numbers have drastically increased, that the woman is losing in the divorces. I didn't say that it doesn't happen at all, that men are not. Yeah, men are. They've been doing that for a long time. Since child support started, since welfare started, men have been set up to lose everything. But we're not going to sit here and act like that the women aren't either, because they definitely are.
That is absolutely false.
women are not losing.
Absolutely false.
Okay, well,
Right.
Not nearly at
Here's
the
what
rate
it
of
is.
men. Not
Ain't
nearly
nothing
at the rate of
false.
men.
Hold on.
Ain't nothing false.
Hold on.
She's saying
Hold
that
on,
it
yeah,
happens.
one mic,
I think
y'all.
You
you
got
One
to bring the numbers up.
one mic, y'all. They cannot hear us if we all talking. So just one person.
Hey, Laura, look like you got the numbers in front of you, so I'm going to let you rock with that.
I don't even have them in front of me, but I know this. If we know that 70%
Yes, you
of
don't.
divorces are initiated by women, right? When we know
Yes,
that,
they are.
first off, then come on now. See? That's what we're doing? Listen.
Keep it going. We listening.
Perfect.
So check
Are you
it out.
done? Okay, so were you done or not? I don't understand.
Why you
Were we
being
getting the stats?
Chanel? Why you being like this and over talking that? What
I
did
didn't
you
think I was over talking him. I was agreeing with him, and he got mad because I agreed with him, and then he stopped talking. Make it make sense.
I think
Listen,
he was saying, all right, I'm gonna
listen,
mute
so-
up while you speak, and then when I speak, I expect you to mute up.
Right. I'm waiting on you to be quiet so I can actually speak, right? You know what I'm saying?
But you're the
So,
only one
if we know
talking right now.
70%
Go ahead.
You got that Kamala battery in your back today, huh? You don't watch BNC,
So look, right.
Beyonce.
I choose joy.
She's not gonna get married.
Hey Trev, what?
All right, y'all. Let's
Trev, what
let
mood did you say you? Trev, what mood did you say you was coming in with tonight, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, I chose violence today.
All right, that's
All
right.
right.
Because it sure feel like it. I'm telling you. So
All right, man. Let's go ahead and let Law
I'm
say
just
what he
basing on the
wants.
fact
Yeah.
that those numbers just don't support that. You know what I mean? Women are initiating divorces 70+% of the time, right? So if they were doing that and losing at the same time, wouldn't that be kind of like counterproductive to what they're doing? Women are not in any way, shape, or form being penalized for divorces the way men are. You know what I'm saying? It's not fact whatsoever. There's no fact to that at all. I just had
Well,
three
the
ladies-
point you were making was not
I
even the
just had
same
two
point that he was
ladies on
talking
the
about.
show. I just had two ladies on the
So-
show last night, right? That had been between the two of them, I think, 4 divorces. One of them had 3 divorces, right? When I tell you she said 2 of the 3 she initiated, right? And the third one, she felt like she regretted actually doing it. But let me tell you how conniving it is and how nasty it gets out here. She met the ex-husband the husband at the time for lunch, right? She went to the bathroom to meet the processor and left. Hasn't talked to him since. The processor goes back to the table and presents him with the papers. That's the last time she's talked to this dude. This is her 3rd marriage, right? This is a dude that was 10 years younger than her. Come on, man. Listen, women out here, they're using it to their advantage to get ahead. I know someone personally that used it to get ahead. Men are not out here winning in no divorces unless you Halle Berry husband. And who else was it? Somebody, like 2 people. So let's stop with the myths.
So, my stance is this: I think that men should be boycotting marriage at this time. And when I say boycott, I don't mean never go back. I'm talking about like Rosa Parks. When I say you stay away from it until the laws favor us or women get better. Something has to happen before men should continue being
Are you gonna
married.
get a divorce in this boycott? Y'all gotta
That's
do
what I'm
it.
wondering. Like, ain't you married?
It's
All
too
the
late for
Married
men
men
me.
talking about
gotta
boycotting marriage? You want
divorce
us to
Yes.
boycott your
your
marriage?
wives.
I didn't. Well, I've been married. for a little while before it
Yeah,
got
you
like this
gotta get
bad.
divorced.
And
You can't tell these
listen,
people to go get boycott and you not boycotting. You gotta be right on the front picket line.
That's
that's what
bullshit.
y'all want me to do.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Y'all want me to
I want
divorce?
you to
yeah.
stay married, and I want you to
Walk it
speak
like you talk it.
about the
Let's go.
positivity of your marriage, and not a talking point about the men need to be in fear,
Well,
bro.
this is. Well, I'm not going. I'm not going off a talking point. I'm going on what's happening in reality because I talk to men and women a lot, right, regularly, like nearly every day about their situations and stuff. So what I'm saying is, it's bad, and it's not. It doesn't favor men. That's why it's a problem. If it's failing, and then men have everything to lose, or almost everything, then that's problematic for
Fresh,
me.
can I say something? You
You may.
married and the stats were the same, and you still
No, they
found a
weren't.
wife.
They weren't that
It was
bad.
still 50% 20 years ago.
They were not that bad. Women were not that
I want
bad.
the same sound effect on the guys. You wait. I'll let you know.
Perfect.
All right, let's go to get some other people in there, man. We'll come back around. What you thinking about this, AJ?
I ain't never been married, so I don't even know too much about it, but I'm open to marriage though. I just feel like it is a big commitment though, for sure. And that's something I don't think nobody should jump into just because I feel like everybody just do it just because they want a husband, my husband type thing. It's not really genuine anymore, like they were saying. So
You said something about you don't think people should jump into it. When is a good time for somebody to maybe to consider marriage? Like if you were dating hypothetically, or you know somebody that's dating, is it a
I feel like about it depends on people, I guess, depending on how your relationship going. But to me, I just feel like when it's ready, you ready. But probably like 5 years. I give myself about 5 years.
so is
And
you mean as far as you wanting to be married or being in a relationship for 5 years?
in a relationship, dating, I want to get to know this person. I want to make sure me and this person moving as a unit. We just not getting married just to get married.
Would you guys say that the older you get, and it's not to you, anybody can answer this, but would you say that the older someone gets, that window gets smaller as far as 5 years?
Marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And why is that? You want to say something, Angela?
I think I think that does happen. Like your options tend to, or you tend to. It seems like you have less options, but I think that that's because it comes down to quality, not quantity. And just because it's not a lot of people out there, there's not somebody quality that you could be compatible with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because as you get older, you refine yourself and then your standards and your values are refined. They develop as well. So naturally, especially in the world that we live in, where everything is so surface and so superficial, that's to be expected, but it's not a bad thing. It just comes with a different set of responsibilities and discipline.
Okay. So T, if people are able to come to that conclusion quicker being older, why can't they come to that conclusion quicker when they're young?
I think some people can. I think a lot of people do. A lot of people get married young and it works out for a long time. A lot of people get married young, it doesn't work out. I think, I have so much to say about several things we said.
Hey,
First of all, being married for 39 years and getting divorced is wild. Like being in your 70s or something and looking for a new place and moving out and all that's insane to me. I feel like you just have to figure it out. But also something my grandma told me when she was married for 52 years until my granddad passed. But she said that the hardest time in their marriage was when they retired. So that is a serious thing. Like when you have your life and your routine and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden you're just thrust into being together all the time, i.e. like the pandemic that broke up a lot of relationships too, people being stuck in the house a lot with one another. But I think you were asking earlier, like, do you still support marriage or whatever? Like, I do, definitely. I feel like everybody, when you be real with yourself, you want to be with somebody, you want to have a relationship, you want those things. Like, it's no need to give up on marriage just because the statistics maybe have gone a certain way, or you don't see it work out for other people or whatever. Like, you can't let that govern your life. Like, if marriage is right for you, you got somebody that's, your person, or you whatever, marry them if that's what you want to do. Like, it doesn't matter, what's going on in the world with marriage. Like, it just matters what's going on in your marriage, I think. And then another thing, like all those things y'all were saying, like about still driving and having sex and you could get an STD, all of those things. I feel like of everything, all of those things we named, those things are kind of out of your control. You just live in life and things can happen. Your marriage is fully in your control. Like, just because the statistics are one way doesn't mean that has to be what happens for you. And then I think it's completely absurd to be a married man out there on the front lines leading an anti-marriage boycott. Like, be for real. So yeah, I had a lot of, I was listening to all that, but yes.
All right, so if you understand that 90% of the people who pay alimony are men, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I understand why you wouldn't have a dog in that fight. I dig it. And I understand why the other ladies on the panel would still be in favor of it as much, right? And I'm not saying that men should not get married forever, but some things have to be changed in order for that to work.
I think men can work on changing themselves and being better. Hold on.
You got to let them finish.
We could go there instead of being against marriage.
You got to let them finish.
And that's what I'm saying. And you're now what you're saying. If I'm saying boycott, that's not being against marriage. Those are two different things, right? If we compare, we go back to Rosa Parks. She wasn't planning on never riding the buses again. It just said, no, we need to be able to sit where we want. We need to have a seat up in here where we want. Y'all got to change some things before we get back to this. It's a protest in order for things to get better, for things to change, right? If 40% of women are making more than men, why is it still 90% of people paying alimony men? That's bogus. And that's what I'm saying. That's a big problem. And then when you're talking about custody, that hovers around 90% as well in favor of women, of course. And I understand women empowerment, but not at the detriment of men. This is getting ridiculous out here. The juice has to be worth the squeeze. Men are putting everything on the table, and we are at risk, not the women. That's a problem. It's extremely rare that you see a situation where the women don't benefit from a divorce. It's actually enticing and incentivized for women to be divorced. That's problematic. And that's all I'm saying. There's some things that need to be changed. Hopefully that can happen fast. But if it doesn't, then why would men want to destroy their lives and lose their children because they decided to get married? That's crazy.
Perfect.
And I'm very sympathetic to that plight of men in the court system and things like that. But last time I checked, we live under the patriarchy, and y'all created these laws. I don't remember what wives and mothers, or even probably being able to vote or even have a checking account when these laws were created. So I don't know how we're to blame for this, or why you should boycott us. We didn't do this, and if things must change, then why don't y'all get out there and change them?
Right now, you guys don't want us to have abortions. So now there's going to be a lot more kids out there that you men don't want. But you're going to take care of those during child support too.
Who doesn't? What men don't want you to have?
And however, there's what is called
rights.
prenup. So don't use the system as a way for a man not to get back what he needs when he's done in a relationship. Handle it like you got business.
Are you familiar
you have
with
an option
how
to do
prenups
a
work?
prenup and a postnup. You can do that after you get married.
Chanel, look right. You just saying a bunch of
stuff.
I'm
done with you. I'm done with you.
Listen,
I'm done with you, sir.
Because it's about to go there, right?
So anyway, like I was saying, I was talking to Trev. Do not cut me off because I'm not talking to you.
Listen.
I was talking to Trev.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
JR, can you tell him to
I got everything. I got everything, y'all. So let's
Thank
make sure.
you, because I was definitely talking to somebody else.
Okay, let's make sure the
You was
person
talking over
is
him. You started talking over him like you've been doing
Dude,
everybody
I still
on.
ain't talking
Hold
to
on,
you.
hold on.
Anyway, Trev, like I said,
Oh, yeah.
it's what we call prenups and postnups. There's ways to be proactive, reactive, and to do the things that you need to protect yourself, your family, and your kids. So you can't use the system that you fall back on in a divorce, wait for them to tell you what you want, and then say something got to change.
Well,
So
listen,
I'm gonna leave it at
I'll
that.
say this
And
right
I've been through a
now. How about
divorce
this?
before, and I was ordered to pay alimony, $380. Okay, so I know all
So we
about
can
it.
tell.
All right, so we
I can see
understand.
why. I can see why.
I didn't have to pay it though, boo.
It's showing exactly why.
I didn't have to pay
But
it
you
though,
got your
boo.
dog. But you got your dog.
I sure do. I sure do. His name is Dooney. You want to meet him? Come for my dog. Please do.
The chat
Please do.
says
That's what I
prenup is
thought.
six
Swerve.
months 6 months ahead.
What?
Bye, dog.
I understand what the men are saying. I'm not saying that that men are not in a bad position, but sometimes the women are in a bad position as well. Like I know in real life. So it's not every woman winning in every divorce. Every woman is not demanding everything. Every woman is
Just
not
90%.
in her marriage. But you know, when you're not in the 90, you said 90?
Yeah, that ain't even
Alimony.
true either.
But a lot of these guys, the average guy is not
Prove me
paying
wrong.
alimony. So that's what I'm saying. That you could say the numbers, but make sure you put it in context. Everybody can't
Exactly.
get alimony because your average earner. If somebody's making $40,000 a year, they're not paying alimony. So there's that. But like I said, 6 months to get the prenup, and then you go ahead because you're the man. You determine whether you get in a relationship. You determine whether you get married. You can get a prenup and then move about your business. But to act like going and having 4 kids by 4 women is a better way, it's not.
So
No, we never said that. And marriage, I'm gonna just finish real quick. Only a second. So we're gonna talk about no. So you can get married without involving Uncle Sam, right? The original marriage, if you go to the biblical days, your covenant was between a wife, the man, and God. It had nothing to do with Uncle Sam. Why all of a sudden do we have to infuse the government into our relationship?
We're in the United
That's
States
what you
of
brought
America.
in. You said that something got to change. You're talking about the government, right? What's got to change?
Yes.
I keep
So
asking
just
you.
don't
So you're
involve
talking
the
about the
government.
government. Then what are you talking about when you say something's got to change?
But it's still going to be disputes though, Trev, because even if you're not married, you're still going to, if somebody's not happy, they're still going to have to go through the courts anyway. If somebody hit somebody's car, they got to go to court. Somebody fall on the floor, they got to go to court. It's not like you can completely keep the courts out of it. Anybody can be sued at any time. So I'm not trying to disrespect your solution. I'm just saying that could cause us a bigger problem because if we really look at it from all kinds of angles, what did the psychologists say? What did the family therapists say? How is this going to affect our community 20 years from now is my point.
So Ruth, really quick, I do have a question. Do you think it's rational for the average man to be worried about the possibility of paying alimony and child support in a divorce?
So if you're going to pay child support anyway, and you don't make enough to give alimony, why do you care? When I'm talking about the average man.
Oh, fair enough. All right. So the thing is that alimony doesn't necessarily always mean that in regards to the average money, right? So when you look at the data, right, almost 40% of households in the black, and let's just talk about strictly the black community. About 40% of them are headed by a man where he's the sole provider for the household. So let's say, for example, if 100% of marriages were to fall apart today, out of 100% of those, 40% of them, a man will be paying alimony. Even the average man.
Okay, so when you have a stay-at-home wife, right, and she didn't go to work all this time, do you think she's going to get the best job? Do you think she's going to be ahead in her career? These women actually are people. They lose part of their career. They're sacrificing for their family. It's like some men just think about themselves and they're like, whatever. She was a stay-at-home mom. Now she's on the street. Now she got to figure it out all by herself. And that's why the stay-at-home moms they're the most likely to get a divorce because they're scrambling for their lives. They have no livelihood.
But
why
should they? But why should they when they have a husband? That's the whole point of the union, is that he is the person that stabilizes you, and where you don't have to worry about going out and getting a job and establishing a career. And you are the thing that balances him out, where he doesn't have to worry about the household and everything like that. That's how two people, where one is the breadwinner and the other one is the stay-at-home person, comes together, and that's supposed to work. Once you divorce that person, of course you're going to have to try to figure all of that out. That's why you're not supposed to be getting the divorce. You're
I
supposed
agree with you. I agree that the women should not be getting a divorce. It's not that wise to go ahead and do that. You promise to stay with somebody for life. That's what we should be talking about versus the boycotting of marriage, because that's putting the Black community in a worse position. We're already not getting married at the rate of everybody else. So now let's go 10 steps backward in order to move more backward.
That's the thing though, is that the thing is that everybody's not getting married for those fears.
So why you can't when you're already boycotting? You see what I'm saying? Like,
well,
that's boycotting the boycott. What?
Who's boycotting? All right, slow down. Slow down real quick. Slow down real quick.
They're not asking women to marry them.
Ruth,
hold on, y'all. We got to talk one at a time. That's on both sides, both man and woman. Let's make sure we're being fair to each other, y'all.
I get that. There's no. I get what you're trying to say. There is no boycotting the boycott. There's no such thing as that. They're just not doing it.
So why we got to, on top of it, boycott it? Is my point. You're already not marrying the women.
Wait, is that the topic? Somebody said something about boycotting, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, right before you came in.
That's what we all talking about.
So are we talking about the state of, so when we talk about boycotting, are we talking about what people are saying and then we're seeing the action of that? Or are we seeing people who are not married and saying, let's boycott marriage?
No, there's people that is married saying, let's boycott marriage.
That's why I told them to get a divorce.
So there's people who are married saying boycott marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, right above you, Trev.
Get a single man to say it, because it's not working. Like,
okay,
you gotta live what you...
Okay, so now that I have an understanding of what's going on, the reason why Trev is saying that is because of the things that are transpiring that doesn't make marriage fair. So he's saying, he's recommended that people who are not married to not get married in this current state because things are not aligning fairly for men.
Let somebody else say it.
Huh?
Let somebody else say it.
Why
let a single man say it. It makes more sense.
Why does it have to be a single man that says it?
Because the married man is telling everybody not to get married, but you're married. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You're married right now.
All right, but why aren't you listening to the reason? He's giving you the reason why. Why not talk about the reasons he's giving rather than looking at the person and saying, well, because you married, you shouldn't be talking, instead of just hearing what he's saying and being like, okay, I see what you're trying to say about marriage. Let's talk about that.
If we're trying to promote marriage, how can we boycott marriage at the same time? That's what I'm saying. I'm not against marriage. I'm going to be for marriage.
So,
I want men to protect themselves.
All right, so like what I'm hearing is that they're not talking about the commitment part of it, right? So let's just say that you didn't go the legal route and actually sign paperwork, but you still got married, had the ceremony, like you went in front of God. I think Trev and Sweeney would be okay with that. It's just that when you add the legal part into it, it's not fair for men, is what they're saying. And
Jay, I'm not even saying that. I'm asking Ruth to. This is what I'm essentially asking you to do, Ruth, because you are for marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're for marriage in this debate. Trev is against marriage. Instead of telling Trev, don't speak about marriage because you're married, here are his reasons why he doesn't.
I didn't say don't speak about marriage. I'm sorry. Okay,
well, you said don't speak about boycotting marriage because you're married, right? Instead of saying that, here are his reasons why he says you shouldn't get married, and then say, well, okay, well, here's the reasons why I believe you should get married. Because then at that point, you're actually making an argument for marriage rather than dismissing his point simply because he is married.
I hear what you're saying.
And I think that makes for a better conversation.
I hear what you're saying, but my point is, when you're boycotting it, you're telling people to do something that you're not doing it. So you're being a hypocrite. And when you're saying that, so if you're willing to divorce and show people that I'm the leader of this movement, don't start a movement that you can't lead, is my point. And I have many reasons for marriage. You could have the love of your life. Y'all can be at peace. You can find a woman that wants to rub your feet at night, that wants to rub your back. You can find somebody that's not going to argue with you. Once you find that, hold that. But my thing is, when you find your wife and you're going to sit there and say, nope, Trev said not to get married to you, I'm going to just let my dream wife go. That doesn't
Do
sit well with me.
you think a person that's not in a relationship can speak about relationships?
He can do whatever he want to
No,
do.
no, I'm just asking.
saying.
I'm just asking for
If
your
you
own.
really gung ho
Don't
about what you're talking about,
take Trev out of it. Do you believe that a person that is not in a relationship can speak about relationships?
yeah, they can.
Do you think a person that's divorced can speak about marriage?
Yep, they can.
It's the same concept. Even though he's married, he can speak on a topic about why not to get married.
But while he's getting the benefits of being married, these single guys are not going to get those same benefits.
It's okay.
I
understand his argument, like when he was saying like how Rosa Parks got on the, like, I understand the idea of the boycott. I think it's like you know, somebody that's grown up and got pregnant as a teen telling you, wait as long as you can. I understand the concept, and I think there is some validity in what he's saying. Maybe trying to pass on wisdom to the unmarried or something, like fight for your rights kind of thing. I get it, but I think it has. I think between us, it has to be like more conversational. I think it'll never get there to where we can change things, or it's more beneficial for the man, or it's more fair on both behalves if we can never really have the conversation. I feel like anytime we start discussing like gender things, it like devolves into like argumentative and competitive. But if we were to have like a more cooperative conversation, I definitely could see where he's going or what he's talking about, improving these conditions for both sides of the marriage, both genders, the man and the woman. But I think we have to be a little more open to hearing it.
And that's exactly and that's the thing that I was trying to get Ruth to understand, is that instead of talking about the person and why they should or shouldn't have the conversation, because at that point you're having a meta conversation, you're having a conversation about the conversation. Instead of doing that, she could have just said, okay, I see your points of why you don't believe that men should get married. Well, here's my position on why.
She did say that.
I said that.
I do have to tell you, because Sweeney, you weren't here too. I did say that it was wild for a married man to be leading the anti-marriage boycott, but that was before I have more context. But
yeah, and that's all I'm asking us to do.
Offhand, like right off the bat, it's a crazy concept. But hearing more, how you frame it and what you're saying, I mean, it's a conversation.
Because you got to remember that Trev do talk to a lot of men, as do I. So when you talk to, just like y'all talk to women, y'all talk to a whole lot of women. So y'all get a lot of insight from how women feel about things. So if you came to us and said, this is why women should practice abstinence before having, because of this, we have to be able to listen to y'all, and we can come up with reasons why we believe that that's wrong or not. But to simply say, hey, look, do you practice abstinence before sex? You'd be like, well, no.
Y'all do that all the time on the show, though. That's my point. Like, this is what the Black community does. As soon as somebody start talking, what are your credentials? Who are you? You got a Lambo before you try to send it? I'm just doing
and you know what? And I'll be the first one, here to admit that's where we miss the mark at all the time. That's why we're having the same conversation today that we've had yesterday and the year before that and the year before that, is because instead of actually trying to hear someone and understand where they're coming from, we're trying to disqualify them from even talking about
it. Sweeney must have had some good sleep last night, man.
I think so.
Yeah, shooting from
I just got.
Hold on.
So look, right.
Law have been trying to get in there, so let's let Law get in there. Go ahead, Law.
Hey, so one thing I was looking up, right? A recent study found that 37% of married mothers actually make more than their husbands, right? But then when they get divorced, guess how many men receive alimony? What percentage of men receive alimony?
10.
3%,
baby. 3%.
Is it because the kids go with the mother?
No, alimony. We're not talking about child support. Alimony. Women get alimony even if they don't even have children. Even if they're the breadwinner, which they say they are 37% of the time, only 3% of men receive alimony. So when we start throwing out random stats, let's make sure we know what we're talking about, so we don't be looking crazy out here.
Can I think stats have to be put in context in order to really like be valid, right? So
Thank you, Angela.
I had looked up this stat or whatever at the beginning of the topic about, alimony and the who, what percentage goes to who. And this, it came up, I don't know how, if I'm butchering the name, Petarelli is basically a law school. It says, according to the survey, 56% of American divorce lawyers have seen more women paying child support during the last 3 years, and 47% have seen an increase in numbers of women paying. So you got to put things in context. With all I'm saying.
That's not.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
But that's just the last 3 years, though. So in the last 3 years,
that's a
It's still
survey.
stats.
No, that's a survey which can be hand selected from a specific group of clients. That isn't all of the marriage.
Not only that,
Stats is stats.
actually, no, wait, no. Let's not
Y'all
even do
one at
that,
a
Marcus.
time, y'all one
Let's
at
not
a
even
time.
do that, Marcus. Let's
Now I'm about to
assume-
discredit the stats.
No, it ain't even that. Let's
Make it
assume
make
that her.
sense.
Let's
It's
assume
like
that her. Let's assume that her stat is absolutely correct, right? It's still only it talks about the last 3 years, and I want to ask you this question, Angela. What have you noticed that has been transpiring at least over the last 5 years?
I'm not debating who's right or wrong.
No. I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that at all. I'm just asking you from your own observation of online activity, the world. What have you been noticing that has been transpiring over the last 5 years?
Noticed a lot, so you have to be a little bit more specific. But
I just like, have you noticed that men have been speaking up more?
I think men should speak up more. I think that there's room for improvement on both sides. And what I pretty much wanted to say on like this whole topic of boycotting marriage, I think that there's enough segregation in the Black community. And it is very combative when it comes to the men and the women. We're always trying to compete on whose problems are worse than the other group's problems. And I think that we need to shift perspective in terms of understanding what we have in common and the strengths in coming together and having partnership and having relationship.
Angela, to be fair, that wasn't the question that I asked. I just asked, have you noticed that men have been speaking up more?
And what I'm saying is, I did. I said, I do think that men should have a ground to speak.
No, I'm asking, have you noticed that we have been, not whether we should or not? Have we?
I don't know. I can't answer.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I understand that. So basically, to kind of help you understand,
I don't want you to help me understand, but you can go ahead.
Well, to help the world understand, the reason why that stat, if we assume that it's true, the reason why that stat exists is because men have been speaking up more. Men have been changing different laws and fighting for several rights that grant men the right to their children. That you know what I mean? And we're also noticing that men are getting into situations that may be more fair to them. So that if you're noticing a trend and an uptick in men getting custody of their children lately and men getting alimony lately, is because men are actually putting themselves in a situation where it's not as just solely beneficial to the woman. And that's just because of the slow changing of the laws. That's why.
And thank you for making that point, Sweeney, because that's what we was trying to say before you got on the phone. That was the point, is that it's been trending that women are paying more because men are speaking up more, men are complaining more. So maybe it can answer Trev's question that there are some things changing because men are getting alimony more.
Can I say something to Trev? Trev, I apologize. I did not mean to assassinate your character. And Sweetie was right. I should be pro my point against instead of saying what you said, because I just thought it was egregious to boycott. So now I agree. Men should boycott marriage. That's exactly what they should do. But also when the men do that, I think the women should boycott sex. And then we can have it even, Steven. And it'll be all right. Everything will fix itself. No. We should boycott sex. Let the men boycott marriage, and we can boycott sex, and we can all be boycotting together. Fight the power.
Big ass boycott party. Hey,
it's crazy how disingenuous conversations get when it's not making sense.
I'm dead serious.
One thing that I do want to say, Angela, with that stat, you got to remember they said 50. What was it? 56. What was it?
56% of lawyers have seen a change. Right. It could have been a 1% change, a 2% change.
Right. Exactly. Hold on. Say it again now. 56% of lawyers have reported seeing a trend where some women are paying more, right? Yeah, that still, it does not change the fact that 97% of alimony is paid out by men.
And
Plain and
listen,
simple.
you may
That
be.
is.
That's
Listen,
right.
hold on, Angela.
I'm not
Angela,
arguing.
hold on. Give me a second.
Say
So
that.
listen, I'm not. Listen, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking about to the panel because other things were said that were completely incorrect before you hopped in. So I'm actually speaking to that. You feel me? So when we start just yelling out things like I
And
said,
still
let's make sure we
incorrect.
know what we're talking about and do some research. You know what I'm saying? Because you you make yourself look crazy when you're wrong. So
Okay.
So I just want to ask the ladies a question real quick. So if you agree with alimony, right? What service do you think that women should continue to provide post-divorce, if any?
What do you mean service? I don't understand that.
Well, the man has to continue to provide alimony, right? Post-marriage. So what I'm saying is, what services, if any, do you feel like a woman should continue to provide post-divorce?
What services
sure
are men
he's good.
providing post-divorce?
Alimony. So what I'm
Oh,
saying
that's
is,
a service. Got it. I didn't know alimony was a service. Okay. So we're talking about what financially that a woman can provide the man after divorce
no, let's.
outside of
Well,
alimony.
it's not going to
I'm
be.
trying to make
Well,
it make sense.
if men are providing the finances, then the woman, it cancels out. Women can't provide finances too. So what I'm saying is, what services should women provide post marriage? So the
Wouldn't
man's
that be a
good too.
question that a man can answer? Wouldn't a man tell what services are y'all looking for from a woman after marriage? I think that would be more sufficient to ask that question.
After marriage, I would love for my woman to continue to clean my house, wash my clothes, and cook my dinner after we get a divorce. I would love and some sex on the regular. Shit.
So what you gonna provide
Okay.
after you get reparations?
So wait, women,
What you gonna
y'all got
provide
crickets
after
for me? Y'all, so y'all have nothing. You don't think you should do anything?
What I'm saying isn't alimony.
No one said that. You're asking what service to provide.
Ask
and
the
we're
question,
saying, tell us
and
what
I
that
got
is.
crickets. See, you're answering a
What
question with a
service is
question.
that? What do you want the woman to say? Don't you know what you would? Wouldn't you want to know?
Well, Sweeney just
What you
said it.
want a
So
woman
which
to
one of
provide
those?
you?
Sweeney just said it. He just articulated that perfectly.
All right, he
so what
did,
we're
but
saying
you
is,
said the women ain't saying
what do the ladies on the panel agree with from what Sweeney just said? Which services are sufficient? Which do you think you would be willing to do post marriage? Is what we're asking.
Yeah, that's a dumb question.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Now you understand how ridiculous
reason why-
No, I
alimony
don't
sounds.
understand. I don't argue with stupid. That's a stupid
Hey,
question.
Trev.
You can ask the guy, but
Hey,
Look at
Trev,
it this
hey,
way,
Trev.
right?
Hold on. So look, right. So one thing that's
oh
funny
Lord, here we go.
is what if yes, oh Lord, yes, you call on them, please do.
Yes,
So look,
sir.
right.
Oh
One
Jesus,
thing
is that
one
Dr.
thing that
Umar?
we need to do.
Because he showed
What if
remind
what
me of
if
that
Come on,
mug too.
Snell.
what if the
All right,
courts
Chanel, you gotta let him
actually
finish. Chanel.
made
All right,
them
I'm gonna
say
mute.
they
I'm gonna be
had to
quiet.
pay they gonna pay in that ass, you know what I'm saying, X amount of times a month in the divorce. Since you gotta still provide provisions once you divorce, right? Why don't you have to provide wifely duties? If I have to take care of you after you're no longer my wife, why don't you have to still take care of me? That was the point he was making. So what services do you think would be adequate to provide since we have to continuously pay as if you were still my wife? I have to still make sure you're good, still take care of your bills and all that. So that was the question.
I got a question, but
Maybe you should bring that up to the politics, to the
ain't the
council
wife
in your
still taking
state.
care of the kids
That's what
after
child.
divorce?
But that's the thing, though. Child support covers that. We're talking about just alimony is strictly about you.
Child support
and
does
the
not
other-
cover the service for raising a kid.
No,
That's
no,
what's
that's
wrong.
not what I said.
Hey, let's
Alimony,
do a
okay.
cutoff counter.
child support is
What-
only about the kid. Alimony is only about the other person. My alimony has nothing to do with the children. It has nothing to do. Those are actually two separate things. So
you
what
get alimony
they're
with no
saying,
kids.
basically what they're
You
saying
can get
is,
alimony with no children.
if you're in a marriage with a woman and you are the only person that has been providing her income for the past 10 years, then once you divorce her, in certain states, you have to provide her a certain income for the rest of her life. For example,
that's not fair.
for example, in in California, and it used to be in Florida, where they had lifetime alimony, right? So if you provide her income for the only income that she ever had throughout your marriage for the last 10 years, you have to provide her income for the rest of her life.
What?
So, for example, for a man, what if you were the only person that was cleaning his house for the last 10 years? He never knew how to clean up a house, couldn't clean up a house. You've been the only one cleaning his house the entire time. Do you believe that at the end of the marriage, you should continue to have to clean his house? Because he never learned how to clean a house. Only you know how to clean a house.
No, I had a question for the guys. So do you guys think that alimony is necessary at all for after you divorce in every situation? Is there ever a time? Is there ever a time limit?
Not in every situation, but say we had kids and you would stay at home mom and you've been at home for the last 10 years and your work history is null and void. I think you do need to get alimony. It should be so you could reasonably be able to get back on your feet. I don't think it should be no lifetime thing though. Like it probably take you like a year or two to maybe you might even need to go to school, so you can get in the flow of earning something. But to just say, all right, we divorce your ass out on the streets, especially if the man decided to divorce, that's kind of crazy, bro.
I would say
Marcus, you said a year or two. I don't think that most men would go crazy over that. That's reasonable because it gives you enough time to get on your feet. But when you're talking about 20 years, lifetime, it's absurd. For the rest of your life, half your pension, half your 401k, stop that. No. 2 years is reasonable, and I don't think most men would argue that.
Also, I would add that I don't think alimony should be paid in a no-fault situation. If you just decide to leave because you're either you were at fault for why your marriage fell apart, or you just don't feel like being there anymore, then you shouldn't say, okay, I'm leaving you, but I also still want you to pay for me. Now, if he did something to cause you to leave, he done cheated on you, was beating on you, or, you know what I mean, financially stressing the family out, but even if that's the case, then more than likely you won't be paying alimony anyway. But if those are the major worst parts of the Bible type deal, then I can understand you being paid alimony. But if you decide to leave because you're not happy because you want to start a new career, and he's like, I kind of need you to still be at home, so y'all at odds on that particular topic. So you're like, well, I'd just rather get a divorce from you. Then no, I don't think you should be able to walk away with alimony because you're leaving the marriage. You're leaving the sanctity of your union for selfish reasons.
So I think that the reason why I asked the question is because instead of us arguing back and forth is the whole extreme cases of it. I think that I agree with the 2 years. I agree with all of these things that you guys are saying. I don't think that alimony is necessary for the rest of her life, but you have to make sure she's good. But that 2 years, what about if she, she didn't have a career at all? Like 2 years is not going to make up for 10 years at home. You see what I'm saying? So like, I think that if men would be like, you know what, let me be fair. Let me make sure she's good. Then that's okay. But we're not always dealing with those kind of men. We're dealing with the hard-headed, had to take you to court just to get a pair of sneakers for the kids, had to, you know what I mean? So in those cases, but y'all will argue for every man.
Do you think that's most cases?
I'm not saying that. See, it's like we always trying to blame, but y'all not trying to see the specifics and what I'm trying to say. And that's why you would think that I'm just all on the woman's side. But I'm saying in the middle, there's a place. No extremes, just balance it out. Nobody really cares. We ain't living off of, it's not going to be a ton of money anyway. How much is alimony anyway? You can't live off of that. With all the bills that we have, it's just to help the woman. And remember, the woman is not built like you guys. You guys can work all day long and be fine. We work and we have health issues. If we work,
then stay in your marriage. Then stay in your marriage and work it out.
I tell them the same thing, but at the same time, if it's not working out, if y'all not supposed to be together, y'all still have to come to some kind of understanding.
Well, but that's the problem though, is just not working out can mean a number of things, but it comes at the cost of somebody in that marriage. He has to, if you just decide, well, it's just not working out, I want to do something different, then why should you be able to walk away? You're walking away from the marriage. Then why should you be able to walk away and still keep portions of the marriage where he still has to uphold his end of the deal as a man within your marriage, but you don't? Because when a woman walks away from a marriage, she cut ties completely. There is nothing she is obligated to do as a wife anymore. But
right,
there's
but what
something
does she lose in there? Because you guys got to go to work every day and build your career. Now you're making double the money, and she's not.
So
That's
if
the
he,
part y'all
but
not
that's not
seeing.
always the case, Ruth,
Ruth.
because some women are able to build their career just as much. And
If
so
they are, but I'm talking about the stay-at-home mom. That's why they are, they fighting for their life right now because they don't have anything. And do you think it's fair that the pension that the man is supposed to be saving for both of y'all if the woman's at home, and you talking about she can't have half the retirement? That was your retirement.
If a woman decides to leave a marriage for God knows what reason that ain't valid, she's supposed to lose everything that comes with the marriage. You're not supposed to walk away with anything.
But what if she's not? My point is, what if she's as a valid reason?
Then
That's
we can
why
put
it's if then that.
Right.
If she
So
did it for a good reason, then
we can
some
then
fair
I agree
settlement.
with you.
But y'all don't say nothing fair. Y'all just like she shouldn't get it at all, no matter what. Stay in your marriage, even if
that's not what anybody on this panel said.
Nobody said that.
Like he's saying, just like look at all the facts and factor everything on both sides and apply logic to it and not emotion. So if she, just like Marcus said, if she hasn't been working the whole entire time of the marriage, she probably need a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years to get on her feet. I think most men would say that is fair, right? Mm-hmm. But to Sweeney's point, if a woman just decides to walk out, right, she's not happy, she's not excited about the marriage no more. Maybe she got married too early. Then is it fair for the man to have to pay alimony?
If the woman is at fault, that's why I don't like the no fault thing. Yeah, she shouldn't get alimony. She shouldn't get a lot of things.
Right. So
but at the same time, you also have to make provision, whether it works out or not. You got to make sure she got some portion.
No,
she got to be okay.
No, that's not,
because that's something y'all built together.
Fair. That's not fair.
Right, that's not fair to him to have to.
So he should keep all the money. That's what y'all saying.
If she leaves for no reason, yes.
You leave me, yes. Leave with whatever you walking out the door with.
So then why would women want to get married?
Because you're supposed to
stay
married.
Y'all trying to make it, y'all. It's like y'all trying to reverse the situation.
No,
the position that the women are in, y'all would prefer to be in that position, and that's why it doesn't seem fair.
If you walk away, if you quit your job, do you get a severance package? If you quit,
yes.
I don't know. I didn't.
Oh wait,
no.
If you quit your job,
quit, not if you quit.
So. Mm-hmm.
But if you get fired from your job, depending on the reason, if it's a unfair
laid off. Yeah.
Laid off.
Well, technically, you can get a check if you quit. I've gotten 2 checks and quit 2 jobs, but that's a different situation.
But
for the most part,
that's an exception.
If you quit your job, do you get
one mic, y'all? One mic. They can't hear us. One mic.
Chanel, how does not you specifically, but how does somebody go? Because I heard you say you didn't have to pay the alimony. Hypothetically, how does somebody be able to not pay the alimony? Like, what's what happens?
Well, I've been waiting to say something. We're doing all this speculation, but at the end of the day, like between the couple, you have 90% control. Like the state law is there because you can't figure it out on your own. But if y'all two sit down and decide, okay, I'll give you $100 a month. I ain't giving you no $1,000 a month. If y'all both agree to that, that's exactly what your divorce will be closed on. The state is not going to say you still have to. If y'all both like, we don't need that, we don't want that, we got something else, go ahead. So some people don't have divorce, so they don't understand that. But we're talking about, like Ruth is talking about just the woman that was a housewife, but it's kind of different because Ruth's talking about the housewife and what she deserves. I get that, but I get the whole part. If the woman just decides to leave, I can see why a man is like, well, you get nothing. But also you thinking like y'all been together for 30-something years, y'all done built this retirement together. So because we didn't work out, I don't get anything. But if y'all could discuss that, it still can be worked out. Like, it's not like that this is, the man has to do this. If y'all can come up with a conversation and come with an amicable divorce, it can definitely work in a man and woman's favor. But a lot of times in our community, it just don't go that way. We get angry. We get mad. My ex-husband, when I told him I wanted a divorce, he didn't believe me until I actually filed and served him. All of a sudden, he went from just being this guy that would do anything for me to like, I want to get her money. I want to get her shit. Like, and it was like, I wasn't ready. I was like, well, damn, like, that's how it is. And, it changes. So
how did you get out of paying alimony?
Wait.
I got out of paying it because his lawyer didn't show up to the trial.
Damn. So wait, you say he went from somebody that would do anything for you?
Oh
See,
yeah, my ex-husband was an alcoholic, so like but him and I split up because of health, like because of
okay.
his issues. Yeah, that was my ace right there. Like it was a really hard decision for me to divorce him, but divorce changes people. Like he's somebody that would do anything for me. He gave me his check, I handled the bills, we were good. But when he realized, oh, she leaving me, he took everything out of our joint account. He took all my money out of my personal account. I came home from work, my furniture was gone. Everything I had before I met him. He came to me with a bag of clothes. I had all the furniture and everything. He took everything from me
Good
because
job.
I wanted to divorce
See,
him.
that attitude right there.
And
That's
guess
the problem.
what?
So
And
look,
guess
You feel
what?
like
look,
that's
yeah.
petty, and that's immature.
So Chanel,
Right. So
Yeah,
wait, y'all hold on,
he took
y'all. So
everything
y'all
from
expect
me,
somebody.
and that was fine. But I was the one making all the money. Within 2 weeks, I was in another house. Within a month, I had all new furniture and everything. But he did that because he knew I had money. He knew he was trying to. The only thing that he thought that maybe would have hurt me because I was leaving him was I'm gonna get in her pocket. That's why he took that money from me, and he took all the Like, what you gonna do? Like,
if
where
he
you gonna go
showed
back to your mama house?
Chanel, if
So
he showed up, Chanel, if he showed up to court, because the only way you was able to get out of paying alimony because he didn't show up, which we understand.
not really. Hey, I was gonna contest that anyway because first of all, we was only married for 3 years,
Wait, fair. So,
and I agreed to that. I agreed to the amounts because I was like, all right, I'll pay him that, but it was only for 4 years. Me and him was only together for 3 years. We didn't have no property. We didn't have no kids yet. We had just about to start getting a house built. I stopped it before it broke ground because that's when I fouled. So
if y'all were
our
together,
divorce was good.
if y'all were together for 10 years and y'all lived in the state of Florida, would you say after all you dealt with him, would you say that it would be fair for you to have to pay him whatever amount y'all came up with for the rest of his life?
Oh, I don't know because I don't live in Florida. My divorce was in Illinois.
I'm just saying, Chanel, hypothetically speaking, because you don't pay alimony at all. Hypothetically speaking, if you had to pay that man the amount that y'all agreed on for the rest of his life, would you say that would be fair to you?
Well, no, that's why I said I understand what you guys said. Like, if a woman decided to just upchuck and leave a guy, why should he still have to fund her life? I understand that part. So no, I don't agree either to pay for somebody. But it's just because I know that I have friends across this country that's been through divorces. Some states you get alimony 5 years, or when the next time the person get married. Whenever they get married, the alimony ends. It's either one comes first. Some states 10 years. It ain't for the rest of your life everywhere. So it just depends. You know what I'm saying?
So you should be on our side on this. There shouldn't even be no buts. You should be on the because you almost got hit with the woo-wop. He almost got you for everything. For at least 4 years.
Yeah, we got to transition, y'all. To
Insane
the next
work. Insane.
We get to these super chats real quick. The dating pool roast reactions. Married men advocating y'all stay miserable by being single. Stop listening to married men who talk like this. Big Ant 11, $10 says, if a married man can't say, don't talk about boycotting marriage, so then a divorced female can't tell about getting married. Pick a lie and stand on it. And saying one, $2 says, Trev, you triggered them at the Rosa Parks. Hashtag boycott. And staying one again, $2 says, Ruth, all men been saying stop having sex. Rest in peace, KS. Well, 499. One fact everyone is leaving out is the profit motive by the courts. I want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform thus far. Appreciate everybody being respectful in the chat. Little podcast reacts, $2 says, Law, Ruth, and AJ looking like a lunch and dinner.
Boycott sex.
All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving, man. Came across this video. A father tells his teenage daughter to do this in front of her boyfriend.
Abortion is kind of crazy, but listen, it's not that. My point is, her mom is making it seem like it's okay. It's not okay. It's not. It is what it is, bro. It's not. It's not.
So you want her to kill her? So what do you want to do about it?
Honestly speaking, I really wish that you just was not like.
So what do you want me to do now?
What you gotta do? First of all, bro, listen. This is my daughter you're talking about.
But
she's 16 years old. She's not grown. She's not an adult. She's not an adult. You laughing? This is crazy. This.
the mother and the stepfather is willing to,
No, I don't care about none of that. This is my daughter we're talking about. I really...
What do you feel like?
Listen, she still has time for an abortion. She's only 2 months. If you want to have a kid at 16 and ruin your life while you're still in school,
then you should have. She's not ruining it.
You stay out of it. You're not the mom.
My child was my biggest.
You remember, JR, when we was talking on King Talk, and I was talking about how do you hold somebody accountable for their how do you hold a man accountable for his actions? This is one of those situations where we see a breakdown of accountability. Instead of everybody being in the room smiling and giggling and ha-haing about her being 16 and pregnant, nobody, except the only person in the room talking about the reality and the gravity of the situation was the father. Ma'am, you're going to be a teen mom. What happened? Like at this point, since you and mama talking about, okay, it is what it is. Yeah, but it is what it is comes with cost. And instead of us sitting here having a conversation with our daughter, who is now going to be a teen mom, about the cost of her actions, y'all want to key and laugh and argue with me about trying to discuss, like, hey, this ain't no game.
I'm gonna keep it real. I feel like that was a terrible fake skit. You
It-
know what I'm
it
saying? Yeah,
They
but
yelled
I
at me
mean,
to
just
call it after, so I
just
tried to humor it.
right. But just to bring up the conversation on it, man. Please listen. In the household, if that's how the household's running for real, that's exactly why she's pregnant. You dig what I'm saying? That dysfunction, and then you can pull out your phone and start recording this family discussion on why this girl is pregnant and 16. Like, come on, man. Like, but listen, I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? We know things happen, but that's why you got to prepare for things like that prior to. You know what I'm saying? You have to try and put it in your children's head what can potentially happen so that they know the consequences. Bring shame back. Everything ain't okay. No, it's not cool, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not with it.
Why is the guy in the house in the first place? Why she got a boyfriend in the first place? They made so many mistakes, and now you want to. I don't believe in the A word, so it's crazy. I don't believe in it, but at the same time, I can understand where he's coming from. I wouldn't want him to force it on her, but like they should have did so many things before that moment happened. So like he's logical, but at the same time, if you don't believe in something like that, they just got to deal with it. Like she shouldn't even have no boyfriend in the house at all. He shouldn't be even in your face saying anything. So a lot of things happen before that.
What if she...
And I kind of sound like a hypocrite to those that might know, because I know my oldest daughter was when I was 19. My mom's was 17. Yeah, so but that's my wife now. We got 3 more kids, so you know what I'm saying. We kept it going. Let's get it.
I'm not judging. I don't call people hypocrites normally. I just use
was the dad asking her to get an abortion?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. He was saying that she's too young to be able to take on this responsibility, and that's what he's suggesting. But it sounded like everybody was going against it, what he was saying.
But they should have let him talk, not just talk all over him like he don't have no sense. Like, hear what he's saying and be like, yeah, I hear that, but I really, really want to have this baby, Dad. You know what I mean? Be more humble and respectful instead of you, what do you want to do about it? What? All of that is just crazy. But
Yeah.
she's only following after
bad acting.
They be really acting like that in real life, though.
So, like, I think this is one of those things that we can really apply, right, to our lives. And a lot of things on social media might be skits, but I mean that's a tough situation to really be in if you really think about it. And one of the things that a lot of people are focused on in this political thing is they want to vote for, Kamala because she supports abortion. She supports it, and it will be one of those things that will be pushed as being okay. Whereas I was having a conversation with someone, and one of the questions I asked was, do you think that them eliminating abortion up in most states will make people be more responsible.
No.
They'll just drive to the DNC convention and jump in the mobile abortion van.
Right.
I don't know if y'all seen it. That's crazy. But
It really was out there, Joe. I
yeah,
saw it.
they say like
my
25
God.
babies got deleted. They got a whole van where they doing vasectomies and abortions. Why so they saying don't bring new life into this world
That's why they went to Chicago.
while bringing in 20 million people. That's crazy. Yeah, it seemed like a agenda, but whatever. That meant like Law said in the skit, if that girl was pregnant, it would be because of how that household was being ran. All them people was in there talking crazy to the man who's trying to dictate the terms of how we need to move forward. And they arguing back and forth, having a good time, laughing and he and a ha about something that's so serious that he obviously, even though it's a prank or it's a skit, he obviously was trying to pretend to take serious. And I don't know, that to me is a failure of leadership and a failure of being able to get everybody on the same page. And I think you will end up with pregnant kids and all type of other extra shit, kids dropping out of school and doing just all the weirdest shit because the amount of respect that you garner in your household don't seem existent. And that's gonna forever be a problem. That's gonna forever be a problem. They make it seem embarrassed, like there's a reverence that men are supposed to have when they home that you earn through respect and care, where bad news like that you 16 and pregnant, you would be so disappointed in yourself, not even fear. You would be disappointed in yourself that you got to come tell your father that you got pregnant at this age and let him down. It wouldn't be no joking matter if you were actually an active father who respected yourself and made sure people in the household respected you and knew you cared for them and you put your all into them.
I got a question for the ladies.
All that
on the
talking
panel.
back and all that. Hey. Let's see.
I got a question for the ladies on the panel. Do y'all believe that men and women are largely on the same page when it comes to abortion, or they fall completely on opposite sides of the spectrum?
I don't know.
I was pro-abortion when I was a kid, because I didn't know no better. And then I got older and I realized, like, God damn, I really was for killing children. I was okay with that. I'm like, I look at my kids, my little baby and stuff. Sometimes they be doing some stuff that be like, you lucky I'm not a Democrat, right? Because
Dang, Marcus, you just came in and didn't answer the question at all.
what you say? It was a joke.
I said, do you believe that most men and women are on the same page, largely on the same page when it comes to abortion, or they fall on opposite sides of the spectrum?
I think we're on complete opposite sides of the spectrum on this one.
I agree.
For some reason, people use the word reproductive rights when they're talking about killing babies.
What about you, Chanel?
I think we're on two different sides of the spectrum on that one.
T?
Honestly, I really don't know. I don't know.
Do y'all know that most men and women agree on abortion? We're actually largely on the same side of the coin. About 61% of men agree with abortion, and about 64% of women agree with abortion. Only about 5 percentage points separate us. We largely agree.
How much of that is black? Because
black people, by and large, are overwhelmingly in support of abortion.
Yeah. We're not the ones that's making a lot of ban it.
We are largely, most men and women agree on abortion.
That don't make it right.
That's not what
so. Look,
said.
The reason why, look, the reason why they are actually abortion was a twofold thing. Abortion was originally put into our communities to try and slow down our rate because we were multiplying much faster than other races. Now, and they wanted to try and lower our numbers. Now, when they start looking up and seeing that they are actually the ones, and when I say they, I'm saying the majority of this country, they are the ones that aren't reproducing enough, and they are also the ones that are getting the most abortions. And so now they're trying to ban that because they see their birth rate is entirely too low. And now that's what's pushing this whole agenda to stop abortion. The thing is, you let the cat out the bag. It's kind of too late at this point. And I think when it comes to Sweeney, your question, bro, I think men and women that have to deal with it together are the ones that are on the same sides of it. So if you know we can't have this baby, you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that are on it. One thing I do feel about abortion, I think it should be on both parties should have the say so. Where in order for you to have an abortion, both parties have to sign off on it. That's something that I feel about, because it's so much trauma. So let's say, for instance, when a man doesn't want a child, right? And we both pop up pregnant and a man doesn't want a child, he has no say in it. He can't make the woman say, oh, you're going to have this baby. You have no say. It's always a woman's choice, right? So if the man says, if he tells you that he doesn't want a child and you have it anyway, I feel like that man shouldn't be responsible for paying child support. Because on the flip side, if you tell him you're going to have it anyway, now he has to pay. He has no rights in it. He can't tell you not to have it, and he can't tell you to have it. But yet he's going to be responsible regardless of what your decision is. And I think that's kind of crazy. So if we both have to sign off on an abortion, then I think that would help alleviate a lot of bullshit.
But wouldn't it be weird if a man has to say you have to have this baby? That would be weird, no.
Why?
And I agree with you.
You can tell me.
They kind of already saying it by keeping the girls from not being able to have abortions. They kind of saying you got to have it.
but I mean, but you should, because it's 50-50, right? If we're doing it right, because guess what? I'm going to be responsible regardless of what your decision is. You can make the decision not to go through with it, even if I want it, but I can't make the decision not to go through with it, even if you want it.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
You know what I mean? So,
if the guy didn't want to have a kid and the girl still decides to do it, I agree wholeheartedly that I don't think it's fair. I've always been that way since I was in high school, and I've watched it happen to friends that I've grown up with. And I agree that it should be a way for both to sign off on. But the problem is that a lot of these girls are having them that are under 18. So the parent is the one that is signing off on it too. So, how the parents going to get those young kids involved that are doing that to sign off?
That's crazy how the parent have more rights than the
well,
man.
You know what's crazy, Chanel? You know what's crazy about that? You know what's crazy about that though? Like, why do parents come into play in that situation? But now they're passing laws where if that child wants to, for like Boosie said, cut your ick off. You know what I'm saying? The parents don't even want the parents to have to know about it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go and change your gender at school day, they're passing laws where they don't even have to discuss that with the parents. Insane.
Mm-hmm.
All these laws are
and
insane.
That's like we were saying earlier. I agree with you earlier too. We actually agreed on something right now. But like I agree with what you were saying earlier when you were talking about why they're doing the whole abortion thing and abandoning it. Like that's exactly why they're not producing as much as we are, and they're promoting cross relationships. That's why you see commercials with the white men and the black women, because they want our melanin. We're the ones reproducing. We're the ones lasting longer. We're the ones healthier. And that's all. That's why it gets that deep. So we on the same page on that one.
Hey, Chanel.
Wait, Chanel. Hold on.
It is.
Hold on.
The white man coming for y'all black queens. I'm telling y'all ain't paying attention. They coming for us because they want our melanin.
All the movies.
False.
The numbers don't even back that up. But Chanel,
fake news.
Chanel, majority of the country still allows and supports abortion.
No, it's still about 5 or 6. Actually, it's more than like 10 states.
Only 14 states have a complete ban on abortion.
That's still a big deal.
Yeah, but majority of the country still supports abortion. Over 60-some%.
But do you know how many more states are on the ballot to do that? For this primary coming up, for this generals coming up?
Well, we will find out after this election.
It's a lot of them. I think if you look right, I forgot what it is, but it's like so many more states that are that is on the ballot for to prove that.
But if you know that majority of the country are for abortion, then more than likely a lot of those states still won't pass a law that bans abortion outright, because majority of men and women support abortion.
But it's just hard to tell because they've been trying to overturn Roe versus Wade for so long. It
Yes,
just doesn't
some
make
people.
it. Just
Do you think every single law represents everybody in the country?
mm-mm.
Do you think there are a lot of the times only a few people create laws that only represent a few people in the country? This abortion ban law is one of them. Most of the country agrees with abortions. Men and women.
But that still has nothing to do with the fact that they're passing laws to keep women from having them.
A small percentage were allowed or created a law, but that does not mean that most people are against it. So in majority of the country, you will still see an instance where majority of the country will still have abortions because most people agree with them.
The issue is telling a woman what she can and can't do with her body. That's what it all boils down to. That's what my concern is. My issue is.
Chanel, but that goes back to what I was saying though. Can the man that impregnated her tell her what she can and can't do?
No, that's why I agree that if they conceive together and she's like, I'm keeping it, and he's like, I don't want it. I do think that should be something that, all right, if you guys signing off on this, you on your own, because he said he don't want it. I agree to that part. So
can I identify as a birth mom and kill somebody pretending that they my baby?
Man, come on now, man.
No, I like that though. You got to think that's a nice. It's a slippery slope when you start making these laws saying it's her choice, and then I can identify however I want. You know what I'm saying? It's the same. It's a slippery slope the way things are set up.
But I think.
But I also think that there should be something for men. I think that there should be something for men to control their, control. If they really concerned about, getting women pregnant or having kids that not want it, I think men should have an option of birth control or something. Condoms is nothing.
But condoms, what do you mean? Condoms are 99.8% effective. And
from STDs. From STDs, yeah.
No,
but
pregnancy.
They break.
No, from pregnancy. No, from pregnancy. But look, y'all gotta look. A man, listen. A man, and I'm gonna go down this road. I say it all the time. A man cannot get you pregnant unless you allow him to. You know what I'm saying? Like plain and simple. If he don't want to wear the rubber, then he can't get in. You can't get in the club without your ID. You know what I'm saying? Stop letting them in the back. Stop letting them in the back door. You feel me? Oh wait,
Law.
Who gonna do that? Like, who gonna do that?
Y'all 100% effective.
Law.
Who gonna do that? Y'all vibing together and y'all having sex, and now all of a sudden you want to start saying no.
Hey, Law. As it is currently written, this is why I tell men all the time: assume she's gonna keep it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
they'll tell you today, blown the fist. I ain't ready for no baby. I don't want no baby. I'm this, but every single time, majority of the time,
you don't have a choice.
Assume she's gonna keep it and protect yourself at all times. That's all you can do is protect yourself as a man.
Yeah,
because women lie all the time about whether they're going or not.
All right, let me go ahead and get T Trav in there, y'all.
T, you want to go first? All right, I'll go. So, I kind of disagree with the men shouldn't have to pay for child support, but just hear me out for a second before y'all go ahead and stomp on me. Like when you talk about it, I know Law was saying that condoms are in the high 90 percentile as far as being effective.
What?
I know he said that going in the back door is 100% effective, and pull out is about 80% effective. You have a lot of different options, right? So you had to make a lot of choices before you gave that woman your seed. Once you give it to her, it's no backsies. It's no backsies. It's not like a woman really take it and impregnate herself. So that's one of them things. So you just have to make responsible decisions as a man first. If this isn't a woman that you plan on spending the rest of your life with, then you probably need to take precaution and don't leave it in a woman's hands, because a lot of times women will deceive you and tell you that they're on BC and everything else, and that's a damn lie. So sometimes you put it in your own hands, man. Just strap up. If you pull out game nice, then rock out with that. But whatever, you need to be doing something. By the time you shoot the club up, it's over. You've already made your choice. So it is what it is. You know what happens. It's not like it's a mystery. It's not like she took it from you, because it's extremely difficult, nearly impossible for a woman to take it from you. So you've already made your decision at that point. So it's part of her now, and she may not feel the same way about an abo as you do. So we got to respect it. I'm not against women's productive rights. I would never try to tell another human being what they should do with their body. But we also have to take into consideration since 1973, we've lost over 20 million black souls due to it. And if we lost that, just imagine how great we would be right now. We would have had that 20 million would have multiplied exponentially. So that's why our voice isn't as strong as it is right now, because we are the minority. We don't want to continue to help ourselves be the minority. So anyway, what do you got? Your fingers bothering me.
I was gonna say, you want to know the reason why I'm for men having the ability to financially walk away from a child? It has something to do with the ability of women to be able to get abortions, but it's not even mostly that. It's because women can literally abandon their children.
Well, I was going to get to that because I don't think that women should be able to abandon their children either. They should be forced to be responsible as well. If you create a child in this world, man or woman, you should be forced to take care of that child. It shouldn't be on the government, on the taxpayers' dollars. It shouldn't be on anyone else. If you both sign off and you agree to an adoption, that's one thing. But if you can't agree on it, you got to be responsible for it. It is what it is. I don't think either one of them should be able to escape the issue.
Because they live. You heard of the baby box?
No.
You heard of the baby box? They can literally grab. They had.
Yeah, you talking about like just take it to any? Yeah, you can take it to any fire department, police station, hospital. You can just drop it off. No questions. No questions asked. No questions asked. I understand it. I think that's bogus. I think if you create a child in this world, whoever you are, you should be responsible for it. Why should somebody else have to bear the burden that you've created? That's nonsense.
Can we agree that the women did not make these laws, and we're all just dealing with what the politicians have put in place? I think that we get blamed for a lot of this stuff. Bad behavior is going to continue. Just like if you let the men slide on something, they're going to have bad behavior. But we just have to come to a consensus of like how we want to move. What's the right way to move versus, oh, the laws, this and that, and you guys are doing whatever. It's like, we didn't make them. They just acting them up. They just running them up.
That's horseshit.
No,
we're behaving as if they're pretending as if there are no female legislators. That's bogus. Right, and nearly 30% of Congress is women.
We're arguing for hours about laws that we none of us created them.
Yeah, but women ain't doing.
Yeah, but we vote for the people who create them. The people kind of tell you what they're gonna do, and then we vote for them.
And I don't see women going out in mass talking about hey, we want the ability to not let women be able to give up their kids for adoption. There ain't women in mass doing that shit. Y'all ain't actively fighting against it either.
We don't want the blame. So it is what it is.
That's because it benefits you.
I don't use it. Even if
I'm talking about women, not you, Ruth.
We're talking about in general, not you personally, Ruth.
Not you, Ruth. No, I didn't.
Who did?
You as in women.
In English class, you was still a singular.
Oh my God. You know what? You come on. Right. I'm giving you context. I'm talking about women in general. Ain't nobody you always making it about you.
Three.
Stop making it about you. Ain't nobody talking about you.
Can't you tell? Can't you see?
For the transition, man.
Look at me.
Transition to the next topic of the wheel with the 49 answer. Abortion is a sanitized term. It's child murder in the womb.
Did you see them videos where they like scrape the baby parts out that still be in there that they miss when they try and pull it out?
No, Marcus, I don't know where I was seeing that video.
Man, the videos.
I've seen it, Marcus. It's horrifying.
The little fingers and little legs.
They should make y'all watch the video for you. Yeah,
that's crazy as hell.
Yeah,
they're about to pull it up right now.
No. Please don't.
We didn't get no money for this video. We said abortion how many times?
Yeah, it's a rap. It's a rap.
No, I didn't say it. I said women's reproductive rights.
Talking about it. Like I know TLA did a whole. I think you're right to speak on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do think they do look into it to make sure it's not nothing crazy. I don't think we said anything crazy.
Till we scraping babies.
It's after like the first. You can get away with it after what is it like the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the video if you don't say nothing crazy. Sometimes you can like bypass that. Yeah,
it's all weird, man. It's all weird.
You
But
know,
let me.
ain't no real. Yeah.
I'm pro-life.
Okay. All right, guys, just tune in. Welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. What's going on, chat? I see you guys. Good deals. Green Gang. Our next topic of the night, we're going to discuss father teaches his daughter real men pay 100% of the bills.
He's going viral for teaching his daughter never to go 50-50. Take a look at this.
Yo, this is my 14-year-old daughter, Mari. When you start dating, what he gonna have to do?
Work for my dad?
Are you splitting 50-50 with anybody?
No,
Why?
because you don't.
Come on. See, common sense for her. Y'all gotta understand, the reason why I be so stern on paying 100% of everything because I have two beautiful baby girls, all right? I got a 14-year-old and I got a 2-year-old. And guess what? They ain't finna be dealing with that bullshit that most women gotta deal with in today's time. They not finna be out here struggling, trying to figure out how they gonna eat their next meal because they dealt with the wrong man. No, you gonna have to pay 100% for everything, all right? I'm raising them the same way that they see their dad doing. I've been paying all the bills since day one. My wife have never touched the bill since 2014, and that's the year that I met her. Pay 100% of everything, because if you don't, you are not considered a real man. Stay by yourself until you're able to provide 100%. That's all I'm saying. You can't do that, you don't need to be with nobody. The relationship math is, if you can't take care of yourself, you damn sure can't take care of this person. Stay by yourself and prioritize yourself. This is why I firmly believe in 100% of everything. Men is supposed to pay 100% of everything, especially if you got baby girls. How dare you say that you ain't finna do that and women don't deserve this and that? Your daughter should be looking at you like you crazy. We real men, and real men stand up on real men responsibilities, all right? We stand up for what we believe in, and this is what we believe in as real men. This is a real man telling you, pay 100% of the bills and don't consider yourself a real man.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. You ain't look. You can't talk to me with a Gucci button up on, both your wrists icy, Cartier frames, and you're talking to us in a damn museum. I mean, damn, bro, you are paid. Guess what, bro? Everybody not like you, and even when we try, we probably not gonna make as much as you. So the math sometimes how the math. I'm not saying I think every man should pay for a dinner. You think you're supposed to court your woman? You're supposed to make sure she all right. But come on, bro. Like when you make 60,000, you try to take care of a woman. Come on, man, stop playing. She making 60, you making 60. Y'all figure out the math together that makes sense. Not when you're a damn millionaire. Of course, you got $1 zillion. Yeah, you take care of your woman.
and it's some brothers, and to say that you're not a man really bothered me, because look at this. What if you're a man and you're a math teacher? And you enjoy teaching math, and you teach the kids at math, but your salary, you got a cap. All you can make is $50,000-$60,000 a year. Are you less of a man because that's all that's what your job provides, even though you're adding so much value to the community? You know what I'm saying? And then he gets with a girl. Yeah, I tell you what, he got a studio apartment. She gonna move in that studio if he gonna pay all the bills. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. But I'm just saying, in today's times, based off your income level, it's nothing wrong with taking care of your woman, but you got to be able to afford it. Ain't no reason for me to go bankrupt trying to pay all the bills when you can work.
And I agree with that. Okay, I actually agree with you guys on that. However, I do believe as a father, it's right to teach your daughter how she should be treated. Yeah, but you have to be careful, because you're in that same vein token, you're teaching her to depend on a man. And every man is not raised like you're raising your children, as they just spoke. So she will get out in the world and not find a man that you raised, and then she don't know what to do because she's only been taught to depend on a man. So I think it's good to teach your daughter how to be treated, but also teach her how to stand on her own too.
Yeah, I respect that. Shout out to I can't see right there, but she was saying, man, he wasn't always rich. No, he wasn't always rich.
He hustled.
He to get there. But guess what, man? My daddy hustled his whole life. Does that make him less of a man because he didn't become rich?
Nah, but she was talking about y'all. She wasn't talking about your daddy. She said y'all need to get y'all money up and not y'all funny up, so that y'all can start taking care of 100%. That's what she was saying.
Let me tell you something.
Shout out to you in the comments.
1% of people make that much money in the world. And you putting the rule on 99% of all women. That's you. It don't make sense.
Hey, man, look.
Hey, y'all.
What you got on us? That's Sweeney. Get this chart up.
He
got the same chart, man. I think he got this on his desktop.
You got to.
Bro, I'm so sick of tired. Wasn't that dude accused of scamming? Ain't that the same
You know
dude
how
that
it
was
go.
accused of scamming?
Them be the
Like,
main
bro,
ones, bro.
sit down and shut up. Ain't nobody trying to hear from you. Bro, stop talking about on what regular people should be out here doing. You got a million, like old boy said, if you got all this money, more power to you. If you got the bread to take care of a whole family, go take care of a whole family. I get it. But don't sit here and tell men and women in general what they should be doing and you are completely detached from reality. Like, sit down, be quiet, and shut the heck up. Nobody's trying to hear from you talking from your ivory towers.
Sweeney, did you hear what the first thing he asked his daughter and what she replied? Where he gonna work for him? What are we talking about, bro?
And I would have asked her,
you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool.
I'd have been like, are you providing 100% for your daughter right now? Because you definitely just told your daughter to go out there and work for herself. No, nigga, that's your job. You the daddy. She's supposed to, if you so damn traditional, she's supposed to be in your house being taken care of by you until she moves on to somebody else's house. Are you going to pay 100% of the wedding, Mr. Traditional?
JR, can you do a close up on his haircut? I was trying to figure out, is that the 100% haircut? You need to. Only if you pay 100% can you wear that haircut. I don't think.
Like, bro, like, come, man, dog, man, this dude got the.
Hey, Sweeney, that's all dye, ain't it? That's all dye, ain't it? That's all enhancements, ain't it?
It ain't all, that is his hairline. That is his hairline.
He got braids. I was like, why is it dented in the middle?
Oh, that's his hairline. It's he is using some hair enhancements.
He got a little Beijing on there.
Oh, I thought he had the Sherman Hemsley at first.
No, that's crazy. Some of his hairline, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a whole lot closer to his eyebrows if he's definitely balding or like thinning, but where it's at, that's all his hair. It's just he added a little more enhancement on that to darken it up, but his hairline should be closer to his eyebrows.
Are we to believe that somebody that put that much Beijing would tell us the truth about his life? That nigga covering up a lot of shit. I'm just saying.
He covering 100%.
He covering up. Yeah, he covering 100%.
You got 100% coverage. No, I want to say this.
I heard they charge like an extra $10 to $20 for Beijing in the barbershop, so he probably did put it up. Pay the extra money. He probably top shelf.
No, it ain't. We don't charge that much for hair enhancements.
Well, is he going
out here in Arizona? They do.
Sweeney, how much y'all charging?
So if you're looking at like basic hair enhancements, like the spray and like hair fibers, charging anywhere from an extra like $5 to $10, $15. But if you're talking about like the full man units and stuff like that, I put that in the king talk. That can go anywhere from $700. Am I? I'm breaking up?
No, you sound fine to me.
Oh yeah. When you're talking about like the full man units and stuff, that shit can cost anywhere from $250 to $800 per service.
You know what?
What is that?
That's like when you all the way bald and they add the hair, then they put the hair like the toupees or they lay the hair down on your head and cut
a
it down.
Unit. They call it a unit, right?
A unit. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I thought you were talking about just getting your beard cleaned up and getting a nice haircut, but you're talking about adding
the actual
like a lace
unit.
front. Yeah.
Yeah. Those can be anywhere from $250 to $800 to maybe even $1,000, depending on if you put fake locks in their hair, you put braids in their hair.
How do women feel about that, man? Because
you doing lace fronts at the barbershop?
I mean, my theory is that if a woman discovers a man, like what if it just comes off? Because if he had it in his head when they first meet, he has to keep that up.
Oh, he will.
Yeah,
they will.
And then the moment that he doesn't keep that up, then how does that make him look to y'all?
What if he had his wig on the doorknob in the back?
I would tell you this right now. If a man don't keep it up, his money funny. If he was getting it,
yeah,
and he can't get it no more, his money funny.
Because it ain't cheap.
Because that shit ain't cheap. But if he getting it, hey, I will tell you this, ladies. If you got a dude that can keep that hairstyle,
how much
that nigga got money. It's $700. It's anywhere from $200.
Sweeney, how much that run?
Anywhere from $250 to $700 every 3 weeks.
Girls in the hood pay that every month, so we not pressed.
Every 3 weeks. Yeah, all right.
That is.
And I'm telling you this, and they all practically going broke doing it too.
They are.
Thank you.
Envious. So, back to the topic. Can I speak on the topic?
Yeah, go ahead.
If he's going to tell his daughter that she should depend on this man and he should pay 100%, he better be prepared to pay for his daughter 100% for the rest of her life. Because are you teaching your daughter how to be feminine for that man? Because you're making it seem like independent at the same time as dependent, and then it's like, oh, if you can't do this or that, she's sound like a boss chick daughter mixed with a woman that's going to be disrespectful. And oh, my daddy said you got to pay 100% of everything and all of that, but she basically going to be paying 100% because your daddy didn't teach you how to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? So he's just making up the rules as he go. And I'm not saying it's making it up to be traditional, but in 2024 prices, you got to be reasonable. You teach her how to be humble instead of prideful.
All right. See what you got on this. You've been pretty quiet over there. I'm curious to pick your brain on this. It's a safe space. You don't have to refrain from giving your perspective. It's okay.
I support a man unit if they want one, but I feel like I hope that if I see him with it, if he starts with it, I hope he don't ever let me catch him without it. But I also think, I'm just saying, like, keep up the illusion. Please do not, please just, like, don't let me catch you. But I don't know. I feel like that man, I feel like people just want to go viral on social media. That man is just talking a bunch of bullshit and saying things and all that stuff, like those things are ridiculous, like, I don't know. That's the goal, like everybody wants to be taken care of and all that kind of stuff. But it's just unrealistic to think that you're going to just go through life and never have to contribute. It's just unrealistic.
So there's this thing, right, where a woman, when she dedicates her life strictly to her husband, she has no like identity when she gets old. So when the kids leave out the house, she just feels like she has nothing to give and nothing to provide. So I'm just wondering if a guy's paying 100%, does that, like, would that take away who she is as a woman? Like, are you guys, like, would you guys be okay?
Take away from who I am as a woman. It wouldn't take nothing from. It wouldn't take nothing.
Yeah.
That was a finesse, JR. That man said, your personality, so you need a job.
No, I have plenty of identity outside of work. Like it wouldn't take nothing. It wouldn't take nothing from me. But I don't know. Like some women, I hear women say stuff like that. I would want to work. I would want to do something and all that. So yeah, maybe some women, but not me.
I ain't worried about it.
That's
I keep myself very busy.
That's because reason. Yeah, I'll go ahead. It's a whole other topic. Y'all just keep going. I'm gonna sit back.
All right, anybody else want to speak on?
I think fathers really do have a big impact on how a girl expects like my grandfather, the way he raised, like, I'm one of those women because my grandfather fixed everything. Okay, like he built the floor. He wanted to make another room. He built stuff, and he was always fixing the cars and stuff. So when I meet a guy that can't fix nothing, I'm just like, dude, like my grandfather told me, don't marry nobody that can't fix nothing. You don't even have to have a lot of money. I've dated millionaires, I've dated guys, and I was so turned off because they don't know how to fix nothing. To me, that's a man thing. So
was this before or after the marriage?
No, I was raised that way.
Now, when you was dating the millionaires, was this before or after the marriage?
Oh, this afterwards.
He's talking about the dating.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is afterwards. Yeah, we were dated for 3 years. It's been like a year and a half since we've broken up. He was one of those people that used to spend like, $140, $200, get a haircut every 3-4 weeks. And at least for the 3 years I was dating him, he kept it up. But he had, mansion. He had money and stuff. So. Yeah, they do keep it up. I just prefer you to be a bald dude. Like I need to be the one with the hair and the toupees. I can't do it.
Not everybody
I don't want.
bald. Some niggas got
I like
lumpy
bald
ass scalps. Some dudes ain't got. Hey, not everybody meant to have a bald head, man.
Yeah, but if you in denial and your head, your line is going back here and back here, you want to here. It's like just let it go.
Don't fight it.
Then,
Hey,
you know,
Sweeney or Barber, you out here,
Like-
you out here being counterproductive to his profession.
right,
You know what I'm
man. You
saying?
better let the
Like,
niggas wear that shit, man. That's more money in my pocket, man. You know, because you know what happens when dudes convert to being bald? They stop going to barbers. They just start shaving they shit. Hell no. People hold on
But
to
men
it for
are
as long
buying
as they can.
beards. Y'all putting beards on these dudes' face too. The bald dudes are getting beards paid for.
I haven't heard. Actually, I haven't seen not one man with a fake beard. I haven't seen it.
They most of those are for
I be
hair
seeing it
shows.
on TikTok.
Them niggas ain't wearing no beards for real. Like most of that shit's for like hair shows and stuff. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. Anytime y'all see like the celebrities and their hairlines extra sharp, all that shit's enhanced. It's nearly impossible to get a line up that sharp and that dark, unless you're like, it's like there are certain hair types that you can do that, but for the most part, all they shit enhanced. Everybody's spraying up. Now there's a technique to it to where it's supposed to make it look as realistic as possible because it's supposed to enhance your hairline. It's not supposed to be your hairline. But shit, Steve Harvey was the most egregious at it. He had the most egregious hair unit on the
that was a
planet.
unit.
Steve Harvey and Judge Mathis.
He pioneered it.
The first time you saw him, you was like, "Ooh!"
But like y'all remember when
Tony Evans too.
Y'all remember
Maybe
when
Judge Mathis stopped getting his toupee done. That's why he getting divorced.
Y'all remember when LeBron James out of nowhere had a head full of hair? Man unit.
Oh no, he never had no damn.
Man, that was a man unit, bro.
Oh,
When
he
you
had
go-
Beijing like a mug.
No, there's a difference. Beijing, you can see that.
All right, send me a
Carlos
picture.
Boozer
We
had
did
Beijing.
see it
Send me a
when he
picture
was
where he had a
sweating.
man.
Carlos Boozer had Beijing. LeBron James had a man unit.
Nah, I think he had the follicles, man. I think he had the follicles with some heavy.
You don't get no waves. You can't put no waves and no hair follicles. I mean, in no hair fibers like that. You can't create waves with hair
All right,
fibers.
send me the picture where he had the unit.
Nah,
and I
you
wanna
need a
see
unit. That's a unit.
Yeah, you need a unit, and you just shave it. Like basically, what you do is you y'all know, ladies, what's that called? That kinky hair that y'all buy in the hair pack that y'all do for the locks. What you do is you put the glue on their head and you lay that across their head, and then you just shave it all the way down to the scalp to where it looks like waves. It
Yeah,
wasn't
but then the
actual
hair
full-blown-
is drip. It's shedding all day.
Nah, it stays.
It don't
It's in
shed
there.
all day. Because I
Nah.
be seeing guys getting their hair done like that, and I'm like, I can just see hair getting all on the table when we at dinner, or hair all on my damn shoulder because it's
Do your weave move
little
when you
pieces.
put it in? When you
Well,
got some lace
they
front ends,
showed
is
it
that
putting it in. They put it in a circle, but they still shaved it one way. Now, obviously, it's gonna be little pieces. That's just my vision.
No, they use the same glue that y'all use for like y'all to hold y'all wigs down. It's the same glue. Y'all shit don't move when you put that
We
shit
put
in.
tracks. Y'all using braided hair. Y'all
No,
using locks. You know what I'm saying? And
No.
y'all cutting across it.
No, I'm talking about for like the what is it called? The lace fronts and the like when y'all put them lace fronts in and the shit don't move, that's the same stuff that they use when they laying the hair down on the men. It's white.
After 3 days,
Oh,
it rises again.
it got to be glued.
We gotta transition, y'all.
Jesus.
Hold on. I just
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be too long. So, yeah, I ended up cooking this dude a couple of weeks ago about that in his comments. He might have blocked me, but one thing that I hate is when people forget that there's a bell curve, right? So there's never been a time in history where everyone was rich. There will never be a time where everyone is rich. It's impossible. There's always going to be people at the bottom. There's always going to be most of us in the middle. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. If we all get our lives together, we all go hard, guess what? Then the inflation just goes up. It's impossible for everyone to be rich. It's never going to happen. So we can't operate like that. That's good for him. And I even do that, right? In my family, I'm the sole provider. That's fine. But guess what? I would never try to push what it is that I do on everyone. I understand that it's impossible for everyone to do that. The economy is no longer set up where one income you'll be able to survive. If you have 2 children and you make less than $150,000 in your house, you're pretty much hurting. You can't do what you want to do. You can't go on vacations twice a year. You will not be able to have a savings, and you are likely going to be living check to check if that's all you get in your household. You can't do a lot of things. You have to budget. You have to be careful. Somebody just trying to pay everything is just impractical, and we have to stop. When if you make it as a person, that's cool, right? And I encourage other people to make it, but I will never tell a man that he is not a man because he's not doing what I'm doing. That's bogus. Everybody is an important contributor to society. We have to understand that and respect what everyone does. And if that's what he gets for his daughters, that's great. But like Ruth said, if he ain't teaching his daughter to be feminine and respect men and be worth being taken care of like that, it's never going to happen.
Well, that's what their mom is doing. Their mom teaches them that,
Do they?
Like a man can't teach a woman how to be feminine. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a father, as far as what his daughter should expect from a man.
Looking at that man, do you really believe that he's dealing with the type of woman that'll teach her daughter to be feminine? Just look at this dude. Do he look like he rolls in circles?
Please don't put him on the screen.
With extra like feminine and upscale women to do it sound like he might be having what's the scrappy mama name?
Mama D.
Don't he look like he got Mama D in it? Like
you know what's crazy? I actually think he probably do got a feminine wife, but he got some ratchet hoes. He probably got some ratchet hoes on the side.
What's his name, JR?
I got to get back to you.
Not you on looking him up on Facebook.
Yeah, we about to find out what his wife act like. What's his name, JR?
I gotta find a video outside of that one. But I give it to you in a second. Swing the video, his name. Let me go get to these super chats so we can move on to this next topic. Man's perception, $2 says, I hope these real men never lose their money. BZ, $5 says, see, this is the reason hoes stay winning. Who's still falling for this in 2024? Advanced perception, $5 says, some of y'all to be talking that BS, like the economy ain't set up for 2-income households. If you ain't in the top 10%, you're not paying 100% of bills. Thank you, sir. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Moving right on. We're going to talk about Juvie, man. I'm a celebrity. Juvenile spazzes out after him and his wife is kicked out of first class.
Y'all hear this?
We have it.
Man, they try to kick me off the plane, y'all. They try to kick me off America.
We have to suffer.
They try to take me out of first class.
Where are you trying to put him at?
We gotta put him in coach.
Oh no.
You ain't putting me in no coach, man.
Absolutely.
You ain't putting me in no coach, man.
Absolutely not.
This ain't never happened to me in my life.
These are our seats.
Man,
We got on our tickets. It say 1A. It say 1A and 1C.
I'm a celebrity. I'm telling you, this is gonna be repercussions. It's gonna be repercussions to this. Because I'm gonna get off the plane. I'm gonna get off the plane. I'm not gonna let y'all disrespect me like that. I'm not gonna let y'all choose me out of all the people on the plane and disrespect me. So I'm gonna get off the plane. No. I'm gonna get off the plane. Come on. You ain't gonna disrespect me.
You make sure you get all your stuff, baby.
This shit kind of funny to me. I ain't gonna lie.
They took your seat but didn't take my seat. I don't understand. Ma'am,
out of all the people on the plane, y'all pick a celebrity. Out of all the people on the plane, you pick me. You like you don't know who I am. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Don't keep saying you sorry. Don't keep saying you sorry. Don't keep saying you sorry. I don't want to hear that. You sorry you wouldn't have picked me out of all the people on the plane. Seriously.
I've never heard of nothing like this before because you downgraded, you taking his seat.
I fly Delta, man. I don't fly this shit anyway. All jets. Fly this trash ass shit anyway. Get some TVs on these. Man, took me out of first class talking about they done downgraded me. They gonna leave my wife in the seat and gonna try to take me out of the seat talking about the plane small.
It generated that he needed to get out of his seat and go in the coach.
Oh, the computer say. Talking about the computer. Bitch, y'all randomly pick me out, all the people. Bitch, we gonna have problems. I got a concert tonight in Dallas. We gonna talking about first class. First class? Fuck, I think I know a thing or two about first class. Huh? Ain't that first class? All of them. I think I know a thing or two about first class. Fuck wrong with them? Fuck American Airlines, all the money I spend with you bitches. Everything that's blue is American Airlines. They gonna try to put me in coach, motherfucker. I ain't never flew coach. Fuck y'all. I feel played.
Can somebody explain to me how these things work? What's the downgrade about?
Disrespect.
They got overbooked. Huh? They had a seat for his old lady, but they ain't have one for him, huh?
Yeah, so that was kind of told to me, and I know Casey came up for a second. I was going to try to play it while she was here, but I was told to me is that all airlines overbook. They intentionally overbook in order to protect their investment, to protect the investment of the seats. So they overbook, and then in hopes that some people's going to do a no call, no show, and they randomly pick people. That's what I was told. Is it true? I don't know. Maybe somebody else have more information than I do.
Ain't they supposed to pay him?
I heard
like
they
a real
did that,
nice
but
severance for
damn.
getting them. Like you're supposed to get hell when they overbooked for my parents and they asked them to volunteer to get off the plane. They offered them like $1,200 each in flight credits, a night in the hotel. Like they just supposed to be like a man pay for first class tickets and you tell him he got to go down to coach. They got to come with something. You don't just get to tell me.
Well, I've seen it both ways, and it all depends on the airline too. I'm thinking my guess is if it's a lot of people, then it's like this is going to probably cause a huge a huge big deal because we got so many people. But if it's like one person, two people, it might just be like, look, we're gonna go ahead and book you on another flight, or we just gonna have you come down here. But I think he has a point because he's first class, and so that means that they're making somebody else priority that's coming from another plane. If I heard it correctly, so I would kind of frown up a little bit about that too.
Yeah, I would have got off for myself.
Yeah, I don't see how you overbook first class though. That's crazy.
Right.
Well, I think the flight got canceled. I think somebody's flight got canceled, and they had first class, so they made room. They chose his seat to make room for that person with the canceled flight, and that person had first class too. So when a flight gets canceled, what do? You got to book people up.
If I'm already scanned my boarding pass and I'm sitting in my seat, you got to tell Buddy to catch the next one. Theirs was canceled, not mine. Don't change what I've already paid for. Not only that, but like I'm not getting up and leaving. Y'all gonna either this plane ain't going nowhere, or y'all gonna pay me more because y'all dragged me out my seat. Y'all gonna pay me more when I sue, and when this goes public, because they're going to settle.
Right, but I think you risk.
Huh?
I think you put yourself in risk and not being on that no-fly zone. You know, I mean, I don't know the law.
By not getting up.
Well, the captain's in charge. So if the captain's telling you to get off the plane and you refuse to get off the plane,
get arrested, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility. Wow. It all depends on how extreme it gets. So I can understand your point about fighting it, but I think you have to comply and then
fight it afterwards. Don't try to fight it while you're on the plane.
Right.
Just fight it afterwards.
Yeah, because at that moment when you and your emotions high, and then they just say something like, "You're gonna get off this plane, or we're gonna remove you," and you're gonna say something back, then you're gonna find yourself in a situation that you could have just avoided by getting off of it. I think it's one of those fine lines. It's either we got to do the research to understand if we ever in this situation, what we can and cannot do, or if you don't know the information and you find yourself in there because you didn't do the research after this live stream, then just get your ass up.
And if you call the airline after something like that, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna take care of you. They're gonna make sure you straight. They're not gonna kick you out. They're not gonna take your seat away, and then you call them and be like, "Look, y'all tried to downgrade me from first class, and I ain't got no refund. I ain't got nothing." What they'll take care of you 9 times out of 10 if you call the airline.
And so if you broadcast it to your,
and they definitely gonna take care of you if you broadcast it to your fans and everybody watching, and
your
it goes
million
viral.
followers and all that. Hell yeah!
They already said it.
Yeah, but like, What if he was really trying to get somewhere? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because what if it wasn't even about, oh, they're going to take care of me? Like, what if he really had
He
something
was.
to do?
He had a
You know what I'm
concert to
saying?
get to. He had a concert to get to in Dallas.
Everybody.
Right.
He put
So, like,
together
it's kind of
something.
like, I don't care if you're going to take care of me. Find somebody else to do it.
Yeah, but that's kind of not how it works. Somebody has to lose in that situation.
Well, I think the reason why, I know how that works too. And I really think the reason why it just got worse with him because he probably loudly denied moving because they do that a lot. And some people be like, no, and they're moving at somebody else. I think when he got loud, they just felt like, well, we can't ask nobody else. Now we got to make them get off. Because they do. It's people. Some people do say no, and they'll go ask somebody else.
So I don't think being a celebrity had anything to do with it. It doesn't matter. Like that's why I asked the question. If it happens to everybody, whether you're a celebrity or not, you don't own a plane, so you got to do what they basically are saying.
Yeah, and I think some of the celebrities got to understand. Some people don't know who you are. I mean, you may be a celebrity to a lot of folks, but some people might not know who he is.
Right.
So I got people in high school who don't even recognize me. So.
And I think and I think if we're talking to the general public, not necessarily looking at this just strictly from Juvenile, like to Chanel's point, somebody got to take the L in that situation. The only thing you can do is figure out a way to get some type of reparations, I guess, for the inconvenience. And 9 times out of 10, if you call the airline, they gonna take care of you.
But what if you don't care about money though? That's the thing. It's like
if you don't care, I mean, I don't know what you could do in this. What do you do? What you gonna do?
I'm telling you, I've seen it happen so many times. Like I've heard people like, ma'am, I really have to be somewhere tonight. I can't get off this plane. And they're okay. And they'll ask somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes if you just really be nice and say, I can't. I got a wedding to be at. Like they'll be reasonable. I really think the way it escalated, they just stuck with him. You got to still get off, sir. Like they weren't about to ask nobody else because he done got loud now. You know what I'm saying?
What if the dude who walked up to him and was like, "Yeah, I guess it ain't the 99s and 2000s no more."
And I completely agree with you that you can make a case right there in that moment. But what about the next person? Because they're gonna go to the next person, he's gonna say the same thing. I'm just speaking for like if
somebody could have known he was Juvenile.
For any person that you find yourself in that situation, there's a couple ways you can go Chanel route where you can try to talk them into letting you stay because you got an event coming up. Because he probably could have told them, "Hey, look, I have a show that I have to make it to in Fort Worth, and I can't miss. There ain't no other flights available."
He said that in Fort Worth.
Yeah, it was in Fort Worth.
I was okay.
Yeah, and he could make that case, and if they say, "Hey, look, unfortunately, we had to pick a number out the hat, and yours came up. That's the only fair way we could go about it." And
pick another one.
Then at that point, like JR said, you run the risk of being on a no-fly list because if you're gonna sit there and refuse to move, then they're gonna remove you anyway, and now you're on a no-fly list when you could just be like, "I bet." And what y'all gonna do for me if I gotta move?
But he was kind of smart because he got up, even though he was making a spectacle out of it. He
was walking off the plane anyway.
Yeah, he was actually listening to them low key.
But when he broadcast it, he know they're gonna come and try and come correct. They're gonna cut him a check. He probably ain't gonna pay for no more first class flights for quite some time. You know,
he's gonna have a lot of points.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you this: in order to fly private, it ain't nothing that's cheap, man. And that's why a lot of celebrities and people that presumably have a lot of money, which we don't know, but it ain't cheap, man. So you're not gonna find too many celebrities that's gonna be flying private. First class,
you fly private. You fly private when you got to take 20 motherfuckers with you, and it's probably gonna come out, if not the same, cheaper. You know what I'm saying? When you got to pay for 25 tickets as opposed to, you know what I'm saying, I rent this plane for $15,000 for this flight or whatever, versus buying 20 tickets for me and the whole team. You know what I'm saying? It's just, come on, man. If it's you and your wife, why get a private jet? It's a stunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, first class ain't bad.
Man, look, a first class flight. They said a first class flight ranges anywhere from $3,500 to $18,000 per hour. That's a lot of goddamn money.
We said first class?
No, my bad. Private jet.
Okay.
to fly private, $3,500 to $18,000 per hour. That's a lot of money.
Depending on how much money he gonna make at the show.
Man, Juvenile ain't making that much money at that damn show where you about to fly private. That's crazy. That's why his ass in first class right now. He ain't flying no damn private jet. That's a lot of goddamn money.
Now, if you're making,
you got no team, it's you and your wife.
If you're making $20,000 to $40,000 an hour, you know, let's say like you just like motivational speaker and you gonna go get a bag, I can understand that. You can afford it, but average celebrities, they not paying that money, man. And if there's somebody doing it, probably just because something that they just drink they're doing, or they may do it every now and then. A lot of folks ain't got that money laying around. That's really the top 1% that's flying like that.
Like, how much does it cost to fly from? How long do it take to fly from Dallas to Chicago? What is it, like 3 hours?
No, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, hour and 50 minutes, depending on.
Well, you talking about almost $8,000 for a one-way flight?
You better get that fractional jack, John. They got a plan for him, payment plan.
Shit.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and transition from this as somebody else got something on it. All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic, man. Let's go ahead and get into this Tyrese, man. So Tyrese has been getting emotional again, crying. You know, if we had King Talk, we definitely have some people that would be against it, man. But I've been having a lot of people been asking me, are we gonna talk about this? So I'm gonna play the audio. I'm not gonna play the visual because they like the copyright over there. So we're gonna play the audio with a little bit of pictures. So that's the reason why you guys are not seeing the video for the folks that's saying it's not playing. I can't play it, but I can play the audio. And I'm going to get you guys' thoughts. Have you guys all seen it? You seen when he was on the Breakfast Club recently? Yeah, that's funny to you, Roof? Oh, okay. I thought you was laughing at that.
I ain't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play what he said. He did get emotional. So just paint the picture in your mind. If you haven't seen it, then I'll try to put it in the back chat for y'all so y'all can take a look at it. But here we go.
I deal with a lot of grief. Like I think about, Brother Paul Walker, and I think about
John
Singleton, your mother.
Divorce. Both of my sisters died.
Your sisters. People don't look at divorce as grief, but you did. You lose things, You probably lost a lot of friends when you went through your mental health breakdown. Are you really, have you really taken the time to deal with all of that grief? Or do you just try to stay busy to avoid it?
I'm doing the best I can with every 24 hours I get. That's it.
Get some tissue for me, brother.
No, I don't need no tissue. Black men cry.
That's right.
Fucking tissue. Every 24 hours I get, I'm doing the best I can. Beautiful Pain, 1992. There is no square footage I could ever live in. There is no rims, no jewelry, and no car. There is no net worth. There is no press release. There is no co-star. There is no collaboration in the world that could ever replace my mama. That could ever fill the void of what it's like to wake up and get married and want to be in something for the rest of your life. And it goes away.
You're making me cry.
Get Tyrese some tissue.
I don't need no tissue.
Man, you US, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love you.
You've been
too,
holding
brother.
this in
Do you
the whole
understand
interview,
how
though.
much power it is in letting it go?
Yeah, because you've been holding it the whole interview. I've been watching you.
You asked me the question.
I did, but I mean, I'm giving you some
You should have
tissue.
never asked the question
I love you,
if you
brother.
didn't want to see
I love you, brother. I love you. I love you.
how hard it's been to get through.
I love you. I love you, black man.
Okay, do you not cry?
Absolutely.
You might not bring it to the radio,
Absolutely.
but this is what being grown
Thank
is.
you, brother.
I'm not doing this.
I need one. My makeup gonna mess
like
up.
Terrence Howard.
Hear me.
My concealer
Hear
is
me.
sitting today.
Hear me. Black men cry. When divorces happen, women aren't the only one that are devastated. When a miscarriage happens, women are not the only one that you should be checking on. When you can't put food on the table because your career goes up and then it goes down, Stop calling, skipping over the man, and just checking on the woman. This is real shit out here. I'm going to wipe my own tears.
Messing up my makeup, Tyrese.
I love you, sis. When you do things from the heart, it affects hearts. That's what beautiful pain is.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all might outsell me the first week. I made a fucking classic. Some of the most legendary movies in the world didn't do well in the box office. Baby Boy bombed. Do your research. Is it a classic?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is Baby Boy a classic?
Hell yeah.
People didn't even know who the fuck I was as an actor when that movie came out.
Baby Boy, the only reason BET still got a network on.
Praise God. If the movie bombed in the box office, why is it the only movie that they still playing on BET every day? Don't confuse data and numbers and popularity with the reality of what affects hearts. I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm going to tell y'all something about 1992, as well as The Masked Singer when I did that show. Praise God for Nick Cannon. Shout out to him. I was really a masked singer. I needed that mask so fucking bad.
Wow.
I needed that money from that show so bad. I didn't have it in me to go stand on that fucking stage and sing, and praise God I had a mask on, because while I was on stage singing, if they had seen my face under that mask.
Right.
Listen, if it all ends for me tomorrow, I never sold you on fake. None of this jewelry on my arm is real. Don't love me because of no fucking diamonds. Take all this shit. This bracelet right here look real as a motherfucker. This shit was $23 on Amazon.
You said it look real.
Nothing. Hear me out.
I didn't think it looked real.
It don't look fake, right? If you out here getting fake vagina over your fake jewelry, reality is reality. This shit is corny. It's all fake. It's all superficial. It doesn't mean anything.
Hey, man, shout out Tyrese, man. It's like a 58-minute interview.
That man turned on a roller coaster. I was feeling for him. And then he started talking about his Amazon watch.
Man, he was all over the place with that one, man. But yeah,
That's be the realest.
yeah. So I was getting it was a lot of comments, a lot of videos, a lot of reactions. I know Trev, you sent it to me as well. Just kind of fill me in up on your thoughts and some of the things you was thinking about once you saw this clip.
All right. Now a lot of us are going to say man up, stop being you know what and everything else. But we have to understand that the dude is dealing with some serious mental anguish, right? And he was actually taking psychiatric meds at one point, right? So he's having some serious struggles, and he's been dealing with a lot of trauma that would set you off. Right. Fortunately, he didn't get to the point where he wanted to delete himself, or at least he didn't try it. Right. And he's being vulnerable right now. I mean, I could commend him for that. I wish he could handle it better. I wish he could appear more masculine, but I can't really fault the brother for this, because a lot of it, I don't think he's able to help. He's dealing with some serious conditions. Obviously, depression, anxiety, and amongst a bunch of other things. Those usually don't come as a single. You're usually dealing with 2, 3, or even better. So we just have to take that into consideration when we try to judge him, that he's actually dealing with some mental issues right now. And he's been for quite a while.
He lost a lot. He lost his mom, and then he lost his sister within 2 years of that. Then he ended up getting a divorce. Then Paul Walker died. He was taking major hits back to back. And he can't do nothing wrong. So I've watched him, and he definitely took a lot. He takes every hit so bad. It resets him, and he took a lot, and he just hasn't came back from the last couple of ones.
Yep.
Yeah, Charlemagne asked an interesting question too. He said, have you taken time to deal with this, or have you just kept yourself busy?" And that's one of the things that I do. I haven't ever had a breakdown like that, but I deal with hella stress, and what I do is I keep myself busy just so I don't have to think about it. I'm thinking about my next mission. I try not to sit on anything. I had to deal with the loss of a mother and a lot of friends and different things like that too. And in order to be able to cope with it, I kept myself busy, and I focused on the next task, and it works for me. So that might be something that works for other people. I know he's tried therapy, but I guess you have to find the form of therapy that suits you, because everybody's therapy looks a little bit different. So I would just encourage people to just kind of listen to what he's saying. And he made a good point. Sometimes you got to check on the men, right? We know that there's a lot of men who do delete themselves when they start dealing with things like this. So we don't want to just compound on what he already has going on. When we see people who need help, we help them. And I know some people are going to say, yo, man up, but you just have to try to just have a different perspective and see where he's coming from as a person, and just picture yourself dealing with every bit of that, and understanding that we're all equipped in different ways. Just like you might be stronger physically, somebody might be good at hooping. Some people, we're all equipped different mentally. And just because you could deal with something a certain way doesn't mean that we are all equipped the same. I'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, just a little context too on the video he did on the interview. He did say that in that scene that came out, like, "What more do you want from me?" He was on some psych meds, and he said that and he said that those psych meds took a while to get out of his system, but people were real quick to cancel him and call him crazy. So that's what he was going through. He also said, I think when he sang the national anthem, the reason why he was dressed the way he was dressed with the hat. It wasn't because he was trying to emulate the Marvin Gaye, so to speak. He was just coming off shooting that scene he did, I guess, for a music video, but tied into the character of the movie that he's in. And he didn't have enough time, so he just went straight over there in character with the fake beard, because he said he's an actor. So that's the reason why he had the fake beard. But he went in there in full costume and he performed. So he has some explanations as to some of the things that you have been seeing, and it all makes sense. Like, once everybody see the movie come out and they see the video that he had that's coming out as well. He said it's actually like a short film. He has an album that he's been, I guess, waiting to drop. And so he's dropping a 20-track album. So he got a lot of things that's starting to come out right now. So hopefully you guys can enjoy it. And he said that he put his heart into this, and Snoop Dogg and his wife was listening to it, and Snoop Dogg's wife apologized to him after listening to the album. So he said the album is bringing married folks closer. There's going to be some tracks on there where a lot of married folks are going to be making babies. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, man. But he was doing a lot of talking about what's been going on with him. Oh, my fault, I'll go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mentioned it, how he talked about that time when he was having that episode crying, "What more do you want from me?" and all that he was on medication, right? Psycho meds, right? Bro, I feel like right now he's still on them. And it kind of goes back to, I think that was King talk last week when we were discussing Jonathan Majors, and every time he out in the public eye doing all this crying and all that. Like, bro, emotionally, you're not together, right? So until you get yourself together emotionally, stop doing these interviews. But maybe that's what he want to do. He knows it's going to go viral. One thing about it in the business, you do things that are going to gather people's attention. So I think I fully think he went up there with the intention on doing this. He wore a white suit. You know what I'm saying? I think he had every intention on being emotional to go viral. I got an album coming out. I was looking ridiculous with this weak ass beard on at the national. What was the national anthem for one of the preseason football games? You know what I'm saying? You do that, then you set up a Breakfast Club interview. Before the Breakfast Club interview, he was standing outside making a post talking about they had him locked out. I feel like that's just more him trying to push it and get himself in a light where we're talking about his ass right now. I feel like it's all a gimmick too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might have felt something for real, but you also using it to your advantage to try and get some clout. And whatever, Tyrese, man, just go sit down sometimes, bro. Until you get that together. Like you said, I believe Trev said, go get some therapy. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what you got going on. Cause I'm gonna keep it real. I say it all the time. I'm tired of all that crying shit, Joe. Like, do that on your time. Cause y'all feel like you're just trying to dupe the people and make them go get that album.
Perfect.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything on it?
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with y'all that if his mental health isn't where it needs to be, then maybe he should take some time to just get himself together. And there's nothing wrong with that. To just sit down and sit still and try and figure it out. Everybody go through something. Everybody have trials and tribulations, and how you handle them is on you. But I think to grieve openly in public is part of like this social media era where it's almost, I believe he actually feeling those feelings, but like Law was saying, I think he is like monetizing his pain in a way to garner more interest. And to me, that kind of just seems sick to like watch yourself break down because you know it works to your benefit. What's the stop you from what makes you want to heal from that point? If you know that your ideal goal is for people to talk about you and go viral, then why won't you continue to break down? And why would you even ever try and get help and fix the issues you're going through? It's like the weirdest thing to me, and it's one of the hardest things for me to wrap my brain around is one, it's parts of my life I'm always gonna keep private. The other thing is it seems like the more mentally unstable you are, the more entertaining it is to other people. So it's people who probably could get fixed or healed, but won't because they'll be born and they no longer have content. And that's a fucked up place to be in, like as a people, where you don't want to heal because you probably can't make no more money if you start sounding like you got some sense. If you behaving like you regular now, it just ain't entertaining no more. You're not throwing yourself across aisles and jumping into people and breaking down in the middle of traffic and like doing all the crazy shit that people do and go viral for. It's almost anti-healing. We so backwards. This as a society, that shit crazy.
But there used to be a time where men were silent. But what we often used to see is next thing you know, celebrity dead, blew his brains out. Celebrity dead, jumped off a bridge. Celebrity dead, too many pills.
I'm not saying
what I'm saying is
silent. I'm saying don't try and monetize your pain.
But how do we know he's doing that? That's the problem, is that we're assuming that he's doing it. We don't actually have any evidence that he's doing it. But what I have noticed is that there has been a cosmic shift in how men are able to express themselves openly, because there's a reason why we will only hear about the aftermath of what happened, was because most men weren't allowed the ability to go out there and speak freely about how they felt. So they will hold all that shit in, and then one day they're dead. So what we're seeing now is that maybe this is just the ties of the chain. Maybe he's always been an overly emotional guy who cries about everything. But we're seeing it on full display because at one point he wasn't able to do it. But now it's more accepting for it to happen. And now we're seeing more and more men be able to express themselves outwardly emotionally. So I will just say, I get what y'all are saying. Let's just not assume that his intentions is to garner, to monetize the pain. Like, who? Keep it real. Half the world is laughing at him right now.
But we in a position where even if they laughing, they talk about him, they happy, he infamous or famous, it doesn't matter because it's clicks and views. That's my thing. And by no means am I saying black men shouldn't express themselves. They allowed to have the full gambit of all emotions. I'm just saying, as a man, for me personally, he can do whatever he wants, right? And for the collective male image of black man, I would like for us to be able to still project strength. That's one of the things that I personally like to see. Like, I'm not a fan of the new hip hop era where you have Saucy Santana represent rap, or when you have like men who are extremely effeminate being the face of what black men look like. I personally prefer when black men are just the most masculine man around, and I don't like to see us become effeminate characterizations of what men are. Because historically and typically, even if it's to our detriment, we were viewed as the most masculine man that there are out
But
there
how does
across the board.
how
So
does
running
Tyrese how does somebody like Tyrese play a factor in that? I think that's the equal balance of it all. Because the reality is, I think this all comes from celebrity bias, where you're looking at it and say, oh, you're a celebrity, so you must be trying to monetize this, or you must be, rather than just looking at it and saying, hey, this is a brother that went through a whole lot of shit. And this might, like, think about if like he was think about when he's in these interviews, because we've seen this a lot actually. We've seen dudes get mad in the middle of interviews when somebody brings up shit that they've endured that was fucked up. We just watched. I remember when they brought up to MGK. Hey, you remember when Eminem murked you on Kill Shot and MGK spazzed out? Y'all remember when Chris Brown was on doing that interview with that one lady and she started bringing up the whole Rihanna thing, even though right before the show he told her, "Can you please not bring that up?" And he spazzed out on her, and then he spazzed out in the back room. So what happened, what we're seeing right now is that a lot of the times they are being re-asked the same questions about their life, about what's going on. And in those moments, is it beyond the realm of possibility to be safe, that it's safe to assume that in these public spaces, they're being asked about their most vulnerable shit that they've ever endured? And is it safe to say that you should be able to express yourself in a way that being that vulnerable would come out?
Well, he could express himself in any way. My thing is, your lowest moments, if it's that dear to you, I don't think it's, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's appropriate to run to the internet and share it with the world. Keep that stuff to yourself and express it and heal however you need to do. But to be out emotionally bleeding all over the place, for my personal opinion, I don't think that that's how men should be out here behaving. Black men specifically should be out here behaving. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. There may be science and studies that show that there's growth and healing and letting the world see you low and groveling. I don't like that imagery. That's all I'm saying. I like to see black men represented as men, masculine men who aren't overly emotional.
All right, y'all. Let's hold on, y'all. Let's get Ruth in there because she's been trying to speak. Go ahead, Ruth.
Marcus, just to be fair, he was asked a loaded question. The guy piled up, or I think it was Charlemagne. He said, your wife left you, your mom died, your sister died. Like, if somebody is going to talk to you and you're not, it just happened. Like, anybody could have lost it right there. So it's not like he went and volunteered this information. He was asked a direct question. So I would like to say a disclaimer. I don't like overly emotional men, right? In public or private. I do think that men should be masculine. However, right, I think that they tried to shut him down in that interview. They was like they were feeling uncomfortable that he was crying. They were trying to stop him from crying. Let me get you tissue, all of these things. And he's like, no, let me just be myself. Like, if it was a woman, nobody would stop her from crying. You know what I mean? I think that we should allow them the space. It's all types of men. If there's going to be more masculine men and there's going to be less masculine men, and that's okay. So I think that he has to work no matter what. He just said he was going through financial issues, ups and downs in his career. So just like you, if your mom died or your wife left you, you still going to go to work. This is work for Tyrese. So I think that we should have a little grace for him. I'm not trying to make excuses for him at all, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it's time we do give them some space. And I want to say to the women, like, we have got to treat these men way better. Like, I don't think Tyrese deserved this. I don't think that a lot of these black men deserve the way they're being treated, like they piggy banks or they were disrespected, or like I was watching Love is Blind and it was a white couple and she was just really nitpicking him. Like, she's like, oh, do you like that girl? And then she said something like, oh, you said it twice. Like, first you
You
asked
talking about the
me
Megan Fox girl who said she looked like Megan Fox?
No, it was the new one. The new one, it was the UK one. And hot girl, hot guy. But she was like, "Oh, such and such walked in the room. Do you think she's pretty?" You know, one of those trap questions. He's a good guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, I think such and such is pretty." You said it twice. And then she went and flirted with all the guys at the party, like putting her hands on them, like mistreating. And then she made him feel like crap the whole time. Like a lot of times these women, man, they see a good man and they hold on to him for dear life. They choke him, they suffocate him, they mistreat him. And it was just horrible to see. Like I literally was in tears. Like, how can she treat him like this? And other people was like, yo, you gotta stand up for yourself. Like you can't be, he's just like in love with her, like puppy eyes. And he was like, you know what? He finally started to open up his eyes, like, yeah, maybe you're not treating me well. I don't care how good she looked. Like if she's not going to treat you well, you got to stay away from that. Because it's just definitely like rude. I don't like it at all. I think the women he should have had a woman to be there for him when his mom died. He should have had a woman to be there for him when his sister died, and she should have never left him. He should have just, he had good faith when he got married, and he got screwed over. I think we need to stop it.
All right, hold tight. I'm gonna come to you next. Let me just play this last clip to this, and I'll come right to you after this.
All these songs about how I feel and how I'm feeling about what I lived and experienced because she left me out the blue. She can't say she don't know how I feel about her. Y'all seen all the interviews. The only person that ain't called me to say I'm sorry. I guess all these feelings that you caused don't fucking matter. I'm not playing victim. I'm a grown ass man. I'll tell you what I said. I'll tell you what I did. Accountability is a mother. I'm coming up on 4 years of posting, venting, talking, releasing songs and singles. And ain't nobody called me to say I'm sorry. I didn't even know, I did not know I caused that much damage. I had no idea that I had no idea. Yeah, well, if you didn't know, you know now, because you didn't heard the goddamn songs, and you didn't seen the Instagram posts, and you didn't see me on Joe Buttons and this and that. I've been talking, venting, uploading, all the above. Just got another letter from her lawyers requesting that I send over all of my tax returns and all of my bank statements because she's trying to get $20,000 and I think they're trying to take it up to like 40. And they've been looking at all of my movies and all of the concerts and shows that I've been doing, and they're over there like blood-sucking lawyers rubbing their hands. And Samantha's doing the same thing, rubbing her hands, and they going, oh, for the last year and a half, he looks like he's been doing really well. Let's go ahead and get them bank statements over here so we can figure out a way to get this law firm another $600,000 that we're asking for in legal fees. It's a dirty, dirty game out here. Well, y'all gonna keep waiting. Y'all pray for me because I am hearing that the appeals court around my case is being appealed. My divorce case is being appealed, and they're going to give me the outcome of my appeal August 25th.
All right, go ahead, Lo.
All right, so look, I got a couple things on this, bro. And one of the main issues I have, we talked about it a second ago about him doing the boo-hooing and crying a while back when this first went down. And I always have a problem with people that will record themselves boo-hooing and crying and then post it on the internet. You feel me? That's always been an issue for me. And I always, it might sound a little harsh, but I feel like when you get to doing that, you deserve whatever you're going through. Because now you capping. You know what I'm saying? For attention and for sympathy. Then let's look at it this way. What if she left your ass because she tired of you doing all this simp ass crying and whining and being super emotional all the damn time? Like, bro, you need to pull it together at some point. Nobody wants to have to, and if you're gonna let yourself get treated like a sucker, that's what they're going to do, treat you like a sucker. You sitting there doing all this, you putting all your business in the street. One thing that I do know is if you're going through a case in court, talking about it on the internet ain't gonna help your chances. You know what I'm saying? You're not even supposed to be talking about the details of it. But you working, you getting what you deserve at this point, because you putting yourself in that same scenario, and the pulling the phone out every few seconds and venting and all that. If you feel like that's helping your case, by all means do it. But I tell you, it looks otherwise to me, and I'm really over the the sassy boy shit. You know what I'm saying? The way he's acting, honestly, I wonder where Tyrese's father was when he was being raised. Because this is not how men handle things. I'm gonna keep it real. And you dig in your own grave. The more you do this, the more you go out here on this public platform, nigga, don't nobody care about you crying. Like when it really come down to it, they not gonna give a damn. You're being ridiculed. You know what I'm saying? Crying, it ain't gonna change nothing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's how you feel. All right, cool. Now what? It's still gonna happen. Did it change anything because you boo-hooed and got some tears? You still gonna have to pay whatever them lawyers then came up with. You know what I'm saying? That's probably your emotional ass reasons, and your emotional ass demeanor is probably why she left you to begin with. Don't no woman want to hear that shit all the time. Like she probably disgusted with your soft ass. But I'm done. I'm cool.
Y'all wild, man. This is wild.
Hey.
Have to, like, y'all want to know most of the time the reason, like, a lot of them niggas was blowing their brains out. That was the end all be all. When they couldn't say anything, when they wasn't able to express themselves, they killed themselves.
Nobody is saying that he can't go.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Y'all are talking about how men used to be quiet and we used to be able to take it on the chin. No, we didn't.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm talking about overall. They blew their goddamn brains out. That's what happened. When men weren't outwardly speaking about this, when we talking about the olden days where men used to be masculine was you ate that shit until it killed you. That's what they were doing. If not hurt themselves, hurt others.
Bro, you act like men didn't go talk to other men about their issues and vent to them. Like that wasn't a thing. Like you couldn't express something you was going through. It wasn't just everybody get upset, hold it in and kill themselves. Come on, bro.
So, but what y'all are saying is basically we only want you to speak in one type of way. And if it ain't, what if they don't have nobody to talk to?
That's why therapy, we should normalize therapy. I'm pro people going to see therapy. I'm pro people getting the help they need. I'm not pro.
No, you're telling somebody how they need to grieve. That's the problem. You're telling somebody how they need to grieve, and it ain't hurting nobody. It ain't hurting nobody that he's outwardly grieving. It ain't hurting none of us to watch this.
It's hurting me.
How's it hurting you?
Seeing this black man.
How is it hurting?
I'm tired of seeing it.
It's hurting you because you're tired of seeing it. Turn it off.
Well, I don't watch it. I hadn't seen it until.
So how's it hurting you?
Yeah, when it showed it. You said it's not hurting nobody. It's hurting several people, and it's hurting him too.
Who is it hurting?
It's hurting him too.
We're discussing what we saw, bro.
But how does it hurt anybody for him to express himself?
Look, Joe. See, that's the thing. So wait. So Sweeney, look at this, right? What's one of the main things and one of the main issues we hear that women complain about right now? Hold on, listen, bro. That's one of the main things that women complain about these men nowadays.
I don't care.
Listen, see that. Yeah, but see, that's the point. You don't care. You only want to make your point about it and not listen to the point I'm making. What I'm saying is, bro, listen, the same thing Sweeney did, bro. All these sassy ass dudes, that's not emotionally intelligent.
What makes them sassy?
The shit that he's doing is not emotional intelligence.
Not sassy.
You dig what I'm saying? And that's something they always say they want us to have. That is sassy.
How is that?
Crying
no,
and whining every chance
all
you
right,
get.
how you guys doing tonight?
4 years ago, bro. At what point are you gonna start to
good.
Bro,
hey, Law, the only thing about this law,
I don't think you're making any sense in what you're saying at all. Because I got to say one thing. I've been listening to you guys. I was in the background. I understand that some men.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What we saying?
What you're saying doesn't make any sense. You're speaking with emotions.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said that what you're saying doesn't make any sense. You're speaking with emotions. You accuse Tyrese of speaking with emotions. You're also speaking with emotions. You know why? Because you don't understand the basic flight of a single man. I understand that you might be a lawyer that represents certain clients. That's okay. That's okay. You can bring those theses and expand on it. That's okay. But if you take away your law degree and come in the real life, you have to understand that certain men hold on to their emotions. And before you know it, it bursts, it explodes. Either explodes or implodes. You see what I'm saying? And the only place you hear about it is on TV, or you never hear it at all. That guy has every right, just like you and every woman out there, to express their emotions. You might disagree at the tone at which he explained or maybe expressed it. That's okay. But you can fault a man that is pained, a man that is going through something, a man that thinks that something out there is against him. Have you ever lost a family member? Have you lost a father or a mother?
I have. I lost the father. I lost my cousin.
No, I'm asking law. I'm asking law.
Yeah.
Have you lost a father? Have you lost a mother?
Yes.
Well, no. I have also. I have lost both. And sometimes you can't grieve no more. When you lose both of them, you can't grieve for the second one. You grieve a lot for the first one, but the second one, you just can't grieve. But there will come a day when they will all explode. I haven't grieved. My dad passed away 2 years ago. I haven't had a time to grieve him. But I know that day is coming. But the thing is this, it is very dangerous when a man faults another man of expressing his emotions or his pain. We all know how manipulative women can be during divorce. We also do know, based on statistics, that men that have the wherewithal and marry almost never marry the women that love them. Most of them, by almost more than 90%, marry the wrong woman because of what they have achieved. We all know how that woman, okay, let me tell you, if you know highly initiated, I was on highly initiated one day, and she came over there to express herself and try to claim a victim. I sent out a super chat that turned the whole show upside down against her, and she finally admitted that what she's doing is not good, it's wrong. You see what I'm saying? You can't just defend who you don't know.
So Akeem, so I'm not sure if you were paying attention or listening before.
I was in the background. I was paying attention.
So listen. So listen, my issue begins with this fact, right? Years ago, when he was boohooing and crying online, making a fool out of himself by his own admission, he blamed it on the meds that he was on. And they had him talking crazy and calling other men's wives and not being able to, handle his emotions, right? So now what you do is you go up to the same radio station that you made a fool out of yourself the last time you went, and you go and do it again, right? So much to the point where even, hold on, I'm not done. Even at the very beginning, before he even went upstairs, you're downstairs complaining that that DJ Envy won't let you inside the building for your interview, right? Then you proceed to get up there and do the exact same thing you blamed on the meds. It wasn't about how you was feeling and what you was going through. You blamed it on the meds. But now you get up here and do the same boo-hooing, crying, and all that because you got an album coming out. You just went and so my thing is, until you get yourself mentally stable, stay out of the public eye.
I understand how
you're doing is using that for clout.
I understand what you're saying, but guess what? When you slap somebody, you don't control how they're going to react. He may have come there before and expressed himself. We all know that he's a very emotional guy. He may have come there and expressed himself the first time. Doesn't mean he shouldn't come there and express himself the second time, because you got to understand that the question that they asked him was a question. I don't care how strong you are as a human being. At the moment, you will react, and you will react emotionally, because what they asked him was very touching. Even I myself felt for him. You see what I'm saying? I felt for him because I know what it takes to lose both parents. And not only lose parents, you lose other people. Then you lose your wife, you lose your kids, you lose your daughter in between that you might not get access to. You don't know when until a court order decides when you're going to be.
With him acting this way, do you think he bears any responsibility to maybe his wife no longer finding him attractive or finding him as being the man that she wants to look up to? We don't know what's going on in the household, but here's my thing. If you carry yourself Think about it. If you carry yourself like this in public, like an emotional, weak man in public,
I'm gonna answer him soon. I'm gonna answer him soon. I'm gonna answer him.
If you carry yourself like an emotionally weak person in public,
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
carry yourself in private? Now we always talk about
Oh.
women and how do they want men to act, right? So do
Okay,
you think that he could possibly have put himself in this predicament?
let me say this. Let me say this real quick. I don't know how old you are. Back in the 90s, we knew Tyrese. That is a very emotional guy. Back in the 90s. In the 2000s, we knew him. Tyrese. We knew him back. The same actor that you're speaking about. We knew him back in the 90s. How emotional he is. In the 2000s, we knew him. That tells you that the woman he got married to knew who he was. She knew that he's an emotional guy. She knew he expresses emotions. So she knew it's just like somebody that, okay, let me say this. This is one thing I don't like about certain men. You get married to a woman that is big. And then when you marry her, 2 years into that, you start calling her big. Whereas you knew who you got married to at the first place. You see what I'm saying? She knows that Tyrese is an emotional guy. So she can't come in and say, okay, you know what? I don't have feelings for him anymore because he's an emotional guy. 10 years, 20 years before that, you knew he was an emotional guy. Then 2 years into the marriage, you can't stand his emotion anymore because she was there for a reason. And that reason, as soon as she got to the level that she wants to get what she wants, now she wants out. We all know that. We all know. So I understand where you're coming from, but you can't tell me that I like certain woman, and when I get with her, then I start calling her certain name because she's consistent. But it's just that I think I've gotten what I want. Now I want out. It's not good. It's disingenuous.
You're
That's
right.
why I
You know
said
what?
he has always been
You're right.
emotional. Yeah.
Right. So King, you're right. So one thing about it, when we saw Tyrese with the lip piercing singing on the bus in the Coca-Cola commercial back in the day, we should have known that he was a sassy simp when it came down to it, because that's how he's still carrying himself right now.
Why do you have to be all that, bro?
You might not like the guy, but I've been consistent with you. I will call you disingenuous in this regard because guess what? Tyrese has always been consistent. I got to tell you something. So you can't call him any name because if you call him name, I'm going to laugh at you. I was taking a class that is called thermodynamics when I was in engineering school at University of Texas, Arlington. I kept getting C. My score was 78. You know one thing? When I went to my professor to find out what the hell I kept getting 78, you know what he told me? Man, you are consistent in the 4 exams. You see what I'm saying? You were consistent, and he couldn't even curve. I had to plead so much for him to just curve me to get a B. But Tyrese has always been consistent. You can't fight somebody that is consistent. If you know that somebody is certain thing, and then you go with that person, and then come out and start talking, no, people are going to think you crazy because he's consistent.
I disagree.
You can disagree. That's okay. You don't change reality.
You have to look at it like this. You know what I'm saying? Look at it from my perspective. If this gentleman has carried himself like a sassy simp back in the day, and he's continually doing this, then obviously I'm going to feel the same way about it. He's consistent with the way he acts. I'm consistent with the way I feel about the way he acts, and that's why he's being ridiculed right now on this podcast.
Why are you ridiculing him about it though?
Because it makes you look weak. I'm tired of these dudes.
Is it weak?
What do you mean? Well, how is it weak? Because you boohooing and crying. One day you bring
how do you know?
Listen. I'm Sweeney. You can't quit asking me the same question while I'm talking. I'm answering it, bro. Listen. If he is whining and crying the first time and you blaming it on the drugs, then why come back and do it again? It's not the drugs now. Now it's this how I really feel. Which one is it? And then you steady doing it to capitalize financially.
First of all, you got that wrong. He said when he was doing that live video, he was on. When he was doing the live video,
exactly.
That's when he was. But when on the show, that's not the same thing.
He said that's what was making him cry and so on and so forth.
He said
he's still crying about the divorce.
Bro, what he was doing in that video was totally different from what he did on the show. Those are two totally different things.
Did he not state that he made himself look like a fool?
Even if that is the case, every last one of us can be considered a weak man for any number of reasons. Every last one of us.
Remember when I said every time I feel somebody, remember when I said if I feel like I feel somebody recording themselves crying and uploading it to the internet, you deserve whatever made you cry. That's ridiculous. You're looking for it does. You're looking for sympathy.
You can't
I'm boo-hooing.
How
you're
do you
looking
say
for sympathy, bro?
How do you assume somebody's intentions? You can't assume somebody's intentions. You're assuming it and making a judgment call based on your assumption of what he was doing. Instead of just taking it at face value, if he was just a nigga that's crying on because shit, that nigga got hit with a whole lot over the last 5 years. We keep saying, 2016. He's been hit with a lot of shit since 2016.
Sweeney, nobody's disputing that he has feelings about it. Our thing is, why would you grab your phone, press record, and start crying? Why would you go someplace?
I think that's his form of therapy.
Then
how does if your form of therapy is what do you do when you're upset, Marcus? When life hits you hard, what do you do?
I take some time to myself, and I just need to be by myself.
Being by yourself and separating yourself from everybody makes you a weak ass man.
Okay, that's how you feel about it.
No, I'm just saying, if a man separated himself from society and took and went and cuddled in the corner and boo-hooed to himself, you would still be like, hey, bro, that's some weak ass shit. You should be able to.
No, I wouldn't.
Right, because it's you that's doing it.
No.
Why would you though?
I'm not going and bleeding all over the place and running through. So this is akin to.
Oh, bleed in silence?
However you need to handle it, you handle it. But to make it a public to put your feelings.
But that's the point of it. That's how he needed to handle it.
He's a celebrity. His whole entire life is on display. Yours not.
Yeah, no, I'm not jacking that, bro. I'm not jacking.
Because you're not there. You're not him.
The support from his fans, so he feels safer around them. Because
again, that's a false drug. If you run into the public who doesn't care about you,
a false drug.
Yeah, but we went.
Who does not care about you to the public? That shit is weak to me, bro.
His whole entire.
Well, let me ask you this:
does
anybody disagree that he has mental health issues?
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, well, does anybody disagree that most people with mental health issues either don't realize the magnitude of it or don't know how to do anything about it? Is that agreed upon?
In his case, I don't think that's the issue.
Yeah, that man does not have a mental health issue.
I do think that he does, and I think it's based on a lot of the traumas that he's experienced.
You being traumatized doesn't mean you have a mental health issue.
You don't think he's dealing with depression?
Yeah,
yes, he's dealing with depression. Is not mental health.
That is
It is mental health. What do you mean?
That is. What do you mean? That absolutely is.
No. You guys have to stop. Mental issue is different thing.
It's listed as a mental health issue. Absolutely, depression.
And it's also one of the main reasons.
Because they want to get people in medication. Mental health.
Well, I'm not recommending medication. And what he's dealing with is a serious thing. And part of it, everyone agrees, is depression. And it's, by definition, a mental health issue. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I think the disconnect might be?
Because he's a celebrity?
No. Law, you grew up in the city, right?
Yes, sir.
How many people you know got killed?
More than I would like. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't even count.
At some point, did you stop? Like, it didn't hit you the same after a while. Would that be fair to say?
You can get numb to it.
So when we looking at it from a perspective from them eyes, where all like we realize, well, I'm gonna speak for myself, and he can agree or disagree with this. That at some point you realize that it's soaking in it ain't gonna help you, and it's not gonna do nothing for you. And you just gotta hold on, let me get up to you, and you gotta keep moving forward. And when we see people soak in it, it almost make you pray. Where like like where I grew up at, it would make you like that vulnerability is a weakness that could be exploited. So it got bred out of me.
Marcus,
It happened a lot.
the only issue with what you just said in regards to the city is that the city isn't numb to it. When you get it back in blood, that's a reaction. If
but
all that killing is basically emotion on top of emotion on top of emotion on top of emotion, acting itself out.
I give you
that is the reality of it. The reason why y'all see so many murders is because there's a bunch of emotional people reacting to some shit that just happened to them. You kill my cousin, I'm gonna go over there and kill yours. And then they say, oh, I'm gonna get it back in blood. And then I'm gonna get it back in blood. And then I'm gonna get it back in blood.
Right, I get
it's still an emotional response.
Right, we never said you can't have an emotional response. That's the point.
But that's the worst kind of emotional response. You using the city, and that's the worst kind of emotional response we can see.
That's a lot more harmful. That's a lot more detrimental
than Tyrese crying.
You just made a tangent argument to something that I didn't say. I never said he should go get mad and kill somebody. All I said was responding where you walk around bleeding all over the place is not a good look. And you go where you can heal, go get the help you need to heal, and approach life from that point forward after you got the proper help that you need. I'm not saying
now, Marcus.
I'm not.
I agree with that.
I'm saying that to put your pain on display for the world, especially promoting music, 1992, promoting things in the midst of your pain is not cool.
So, Marcus, I agree with all that, but the problem I'm having with it is that I honestly don't believe he has the ability to see it from your perspective.
He may not.
Also, he still has a job to do, bro.
The majority of the time, I've been saying, for me, in my personal opinion, this is
I got it.
My personal feelings and opinion about all of this. That's not what's like.
Marcus, Marcus, the problem is that you just heard Tyrese practically say, money ain't sliding the way it used to. This is his job. So when he does these interviews, this is his job. So on his job, imagine if you was on your job and at the job, your boss kept coming by, or during the job, you keep getting reminded how your mama died, or you keep getting reminded how your relationship is breaking down. You keep getting reminded that's his job is to do this interview because he got an album to promote. So saying you can't promote your album at the same time as being emotional is ridiculous, because a part of his job was going up there to promote his album. But when you get asked a question about the shit that you've been through over the last 8 years, I can see how you would break down in that scenario. And at the same time wind up promoting your album because that's what you went up there for. This is his job. His job is to be in the public eye.
How many times have you seen that man crying?
It doesn't matter.
It's a lot.
You want to know why we see him cry? Because it's his job to be in the public. So when he cries, it's normally going to be public. Whereas when you cry, your job ain't we don't have to see you every day.
So
your money is not made off.
So wait, Sweeney. So you mean to tell me? So Sweeney, you mean to tell me you don't think that all these other celebrities and artists and what have you don't cry and don't handle their stuff a bit differently? Here's my thing. As I stated before, bro. When you carry yourself like a
we just watched Juvenile cry on the plane.
You ain't see one tear. Let's relax. So what I'm saying is,
he was crying, so there was no tears.
Nah, he wasn't. He was mad. He was mad. What do you mean?
He was bitching.
That's a completely different scenario.
He wasn't bitching.
Incorrect. No,
so because it wasn't no tears,
pissed off. So he was bitching because he was pissed off.
But you can't cry in public.
Listen, if you crying, look, remember what I said. Remember very clearly, Sweeney, what I said. When he was boohooing and crying the first time, he blamed it on the medications they had him on. Now, when you boohooing and crying this time, after you just look goofy as hell, singing the national anthem at a football game with this goofy ass wig on, and then tried to blame it on the fact that you ain't have enough time to change. Come on, dog. You could have snatched that bullshit off your face. You are doing things to go viral. Artists do things to go viral. Remember, it would have been completely different if you wasn't boohooing in front of the doors of the Breakfast Club saying, "Oh, they won't let me in, they won't let me in," and then posting that, and then 10 minutes later you doing your interview, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's clout chasing. He's doing that sell an album, and he's looking ridiculous, and I'm sick of it.
Middle of his
He's been
rant, he start talking about his career and the next upcoming project and how his numbers. Come on.
He's obligated to do that. He's obligated to do that. He can't get out of that. He's obligated. When you go on to, if you get booked for the Breakfast Club and you have projects coming out, the people who sign those papers with you for you to agree to do that album or to do that movie, you're obligated to promote it. They tell you how to promote it, what you can say, what you can't say, what you should say, what you will say. That's just how that go. So there's no avoiding that. Listen, I agree. Hold up. So I agree that I truly wish that he would have handled it differently. I don't like to see men doing that. I understand. However, I don't fault him based on the circumstances of he actually went through all of this. Like, that's real. Losing your parents and then both your siblings is devastating. Losing your wife, access to your children, like all this stuff will break a man, right? And I understand it. We should deal with it the best way we could, and it's in our own privacy, talk to people who are close to us, and I dig it, right? But that's what he's doing. Like, that's what he feels like works for him. I don't 100% approve of it, but I understand it, and I don't want to down him for it because I know he's dealing with these mental issues. So if we all can agree that he has mental health issues, then I don't see why we can't agree that you're not in control of that. People who are dealing with mental health issues generally don't understand the magnitude of it, for one, and absolutely can't control the way that they feel, the way they react to everything. That's why it's a mental health issue. So we're dogging him as if he has a normal sound mind, like he's just one of us out here and he's equipped to deal with these circumstances the same way. I think we're missing the mark with that. I don't feel like he's equipped to deal with that. This is how he's dealing with it. That they had him on medicine trying to help him. They had him doing therapy trying to help him. They're trying different things. Who knows what the hell could help him, if anything? But he's dealing with this the best way that he sees, just so he doesn't probably delete himself or whatever. But it's natural for us to want to talk to somebody, speaking to somebody. That's, you got these confession booths. Other people deal with it in that way. He's a public figure, so he's dealing with it publicly. So humans love to confess. Humans love to talk about that. That is absolutely therapeutic. It's just that this is his circumstances. He's in the public eye.
Also, we say what happened to a lot of celebrities. Like, a lot of these celebrities ain't right in the head, and you find out later on heavy drug use. What was the old boy name? Who died of a drug overdose? No, he was on a plane, and then he died of a drug overdose. Did that song Godzilla with Eminem? Juice WRLD, drug overdose.
Robin Williams. Remember Robin Williams?
Hold on. Before you put that on Juice WRLD, he got raided by the feds and tried to swallow the drugs.
Tried to swallow drugs to avoid it.
That wasn't
But he was also.
I said Robin Williams.
Eminem almost died. We see celebrities going through shit every single day, and they handling it in some of the most destructive ways. We seeing celebrities age right before our eyes, and then you find out, man, they've been on drugs the whole time. Them drugs is killing them right now. Then or they kill themselves, or they go out there and hurt somebody else, or you find them out there in the streets wilding out on people. Like, we see it all the time. We see like celebrities go through a whole lot of shit.
Humans go through a whole lot of shit. Who cares, bro? Humans go through a whole lot of shit.
Right, like, we all express ourselves. Like, all of us express ourselves. The only difference is that they're in the public eye. There's men that cry every single day, but we're not in the public eye. Ain't nobody flashing the camera in our face every time we step outside.
And you got to think about it. All these tabloids, all these stories, everything else, that's public. When his divorce papers went public, then he had to address it just so they could get his side of it. He could have tried to leave it alone, but if everybody's coming up with these false narratives, and you got Samantha Lee, who's now a content creator, sit in her side of the story, he just want to set the record straight. Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's absolutely right.
Every time he want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you in one of the biggest series period. That's why she can potentially request $40,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? You walked into a mansion also saying, yeah, they seeing how much work I'm doing right now and this, that, and the other. And now she trying to get 40. Yeah, because you working. It ain't like you're not working. You know what I'm saying? Like, which one is it? You want to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to flex in one video and then cry in the next. Like, bro, come on, man. I ain't got time for that. You made your bed, lay on it. I always tell women, y'all got to have some accountability for the decisions that you make. He should have known she was a gold digger. You know what I'm saying? You ain't see that?
Because you lay in, you got to lay in silence?
What you mean? Take accountability. What do you mean? Stop doing all this boohooing. What more do you want from me? Yeah, you made that bed.
So you're supposed to take your L in silence. You ain't supposed to say nothing about it. You ain't got no feelings. You ain't supposed to have no feelings towards the shit that happens to you in life.
Men should
again. You're moving the goalposts. Remember, my issue was the first time you were boohooing and whining and all that, you blamed it on
regardless
the
of whether first
now
time
you boohooing.
Hold
on. Now it does matter because when you came back, you tried to explain it away as it wasn't really like that. It was the drugs, so on and so forth. Now you come back and do the exact same thing when it's conveniently when the album's coming out and you want sympathy.
What if he was lying and saying that it was the drugs?
You're a liar.
What if he was saying that it was the drugs to try to get everybody off his back?
Exactly.
But it was really his genuine feelings.
Then get some help because what you're doing is making you look like a fool, and we're ridiculing you right now. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it because I'm tired of seeing it. But see, so here's the same thing, right? Then you see how ain't no real men. These women say it ain't no real men out here. Listen, we care because we are the black men that's trying to lead. Now it's fuck the women, right? So listen. Again, when they start saying all these sassy dudes out here and ain't no real men, but
them.
So allow them.
Fuck any woman that comes out here and tells a man that he can't cry. Fuck him.
Hey,
why are we sitting over there basing our moves off of a bunch of hyenas?
He need to grow some nuts, bro.
Fuck about
I'm talking about the whole fact of all these sassy ass simps out here, and that's what he's coming off as. And every time he hop out here, but he had a lip ring back in the 90s, so you know, no offense if any of you fellas had lip rings, but yeah, that was kind of an indicator for me.
Like I said, we already know what this is. This is just straight up. This is just straight up.
Beta.
Straight up celebrity hate at this point. This is just celebrity bias at this point. It's because that nigga is a celebrity. Y'all assuming that man's intentions, talking about he only doing this for clout. Like we don't know none of this shit. We don't watch this nigga go through hell and back, and we gonna sit here and tell this man straight up, hey, man, shut your ass up, bro. Come on, dog.
So wait, if that was your homie, what advice would you give him?
I'll give my homie a hug, bro.
What advice would you give him?
How to deal with those, like the issues that he did. Well, what advice can you give somebody who lost their mama?
No. If that was your friend, what advice would you give him about the way he is carrying himself? Not about what he's gone through, the way he's carrying himself.
There's nothing,
bro. If you want to cry and all that, listen. You want to cry and all that, bro? Come holler at us. Come holler at the bros. Come listen.
Come cry to you.
But you said it ain't nothing. You can. Hey, it's better than you crying on the internet and making yourself look like a goddamn fool. Every chance
you believe he looks like a fool. I don't believe he looks like a fool.
All right.
You believe it because
like I said, that's probably why that woman left his ass, because he was running around acting like a simp.
You have some hyper masculine idea of how men should be, rather than having any empathy about what this man gone through. Have some goddamn empathy, bro. Come on. I don't see it over the last 8 years is fucked up. No, like Trev said, that shit will break most men.
Yeah, I just don't think you should be running around crying and whining on the internet.
Man, look, you're right. You'd rather him go and shoot somebody.
Real shit. That's my issue.
Ass cooked.
No, I'd
rather him go out there and look up on
go holler at some individuals that actually care about you and not gonna. No. Don't put words in my mouth, Sweeney. I said exactly what I would have him do. Don't put words in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, look, I have a circle of brothers, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you could. It's a whole lot better if you come over and you going through some shit. You think I ain't had a brother cry with me? You know what I'm saying? Over what he going through, yeah. But I'm not gonna let you go out here and embarrass yourself because now you're gonna be taken as a simp. You're gonna be taken as weak anytime, goddamn it, something come up because you want to go broadcast your feelings on the internet like as if that's what's going to give you something.
The problem is that you're criticizing.
It's his fault.
You're criticizing the man for the way that poor society behaves. You're saying you're gonna get taken as something because society ain't shit. They gonna treat you some type of way. Society ain't shit when they treat when they look at Tyrese.
That's probably how he lost that woman, by acting like this. That's how he lost her, acting like this.
You don't know that, bro.
That's what I believe. We talk about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. He lost that woman because she was after the bride. He lost that woman because all she wanted to do was pretend like she wanted the bag, and then she got the bag. That's how he lost her. She was never there for him to begin with. You can't assume that, man. She got just like how you know. You assuming now. You assuming now. You assuming maybe she liked him at first.
No, because we actually have we actually have evidence of this. He even said it himself. She sat there and pretended like she was something else, and as soon as she got with me in the money, all of a sudden she changed up on me. All of a sudden it's all about the money. He said this. All I could go off is what, and even she said, I had a circle of people.
He also said he was crying because of the drugs.
What does that have to do with what she?
Now
she also basically confirmed
when we believe.
She also basically
he said this. You said he said this.
I said, what if he lied? I didn't say that he was lying. I said, what if he was lying?
It's just what
he could be
was lying about that. What he said about her. He could be lying too. What we saying? No, I'm talking about what I've actually heard him say, right?
So if you're going off of what you heard him say, and let's just take your logic and just walk back your logic. If you're saying you're going to go off of what he said, then by his own admission, what you said about how you could have lost his wife is wrong. Because he told us how he lost her. Even she admitted, I had a bunch of bad people in my circle telling me I needed to do this and do that, and she did them dirty. By her own, both of their own admission, it's safe to assume this bitch wasn't out the shit but the bread.
So Sweeney, I think the point that me and Law is making that I'm standing on is because I want to be clear. We are not saying you can't have emotions. We are not saying you can't feel pain. We are not even saying you can't cry. We are just saying to walk around crying everywhere is a bad look for a man.
When was the last time y'all seen Tyrese cry before today?
The last time I seen Tyrese on TV, he was crying. The last time I discussed Tyrese, he was crying.
Okay, so how? When was that? When was that?
I don't even remember.
So it was so long ago that you don't even remember. So, but you're gonna say he's crying all the time.
Well, what I'm saying is every time I see the man, he crying.
But that's every time you see the man, because the only time you ever tune in is when he's crying. But he's been out in the public before. He done did shows before. He done been out and talked to people and done interviews before, and he wasn't crying.
Yeah, well, when I see him, he crying.
The last time that man went viral for crying was what, 6 years ago? I mean, not 6 years, a few years ago.
So in the same,
so he got one. Tyrese, you got it. I ain't gonna even go. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the same exact scene, he went viral for crying, so he came back to go viral for crying again for a new project.
You said what?
He went viral for crying in the Breakfast Club, right? So he come back there and he cry again to go viral.
The Breakfast Club is one of arguably the biggest radio stations. If you're gonna promote an album, why wouldn't you go to the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, you can't skip that. That's just you have to make that stop. You have to make that stop.
And just so
if you promote it in the black community, you have to make that stop. It ain't no going around that. And Charlamagne, we got to give Charlamagne some of the blame for this because he led with that. He didn't have to ask him those questions.
He laid it on,
and he knew what it was. He knew what it was going to do. So Charlamagne might be, acting like that's his homie, but he set you up, bro.
I don't think he set him up. I think he wanted to do that. That's why he sat there and said, "No."
Again, you're assuming something. Stop assuming.
So you telling me Charlamagne don't write his own questions? Is that what you know?
So look, right? I just looked it up, y'all, in Google. So It was 6 years ago. Tyrese was crying about in that video, and he blamed it on the drugs. Then he was crying 11 months ago, saying that you turned your back on me. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 11 months ago. You can click it on YouTube. If you just Google Tyrese.
I think
crying,
he did it a lot. I think he did it. It's a lot of videos of that. He's done it a lot.
Like, it's what he does, bro. And I'm just come on, man. Like,
but you said
after the first time he got mad. Hold on, listen.
A lot of time. That's a lot of time in between.
Come on, man. Now we talking semantics, bro. Stop.
You said he cries all the time. Just because so if you're in the public eye all the time, and you can only pinpoint a handful of times when you've caught him crying, is that all the time?
Come on now.
Or is that simply a person? Or is that simply...
Bro, listen. If I've seen 10 interviews of you in your life and you crying in 6 of them, guess what I'm gonna go with?
All the time.
You did? Come on, let's stop it, bro.
But that's the thing, though. That's not the thing, though.
Sweeney, but it is. I'm looking at it. Google it. Look it up.
We see Tyrese go live all the time. It's a part of his brand.
I ain't talking about
so
him going live. I'm talking about him crying on the internet all the time.
So he's on the internet all the time. He's on the internet. It's a part of his brand. He's always live. He's always broadcasting. He's always posting. He's always. So if out of 6 years you can only point to a handful of times that he has actually broken down and cried, you can't say a man is crying all the time. It's just the only time that you tune in is when a nigga had cried.
The only time
it's just the ones that so happen to go viral because people love toxicity.
The only time he goes viral is
when
people love toxicity.
Tyrese has a crybaby, and I'm over it. I don't care. Tyrese has a crybaby, bro. Like, I'm tired of it. I see it all the time, and I think it's solely for clout. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. Listen. He sat there and complained because people treated him differently after he was boohooing on the internet, and now what is he doing? More boohooing on the internet. He know what it is. He's clout chasing. He's trying to get some more attention. All right.
That makes no sense.
You're
assuming that he's clout chasing based on what? No evidence.
Based on the way he operated that interview. I explained it at least 4 times. I can say it again, but you also remember the way. Listen again. The very first thing that he did was standing outside of the doors of the Breakfast Club complaining that they won't let him in. DJ Envy got me blocked from coming in. He won't let me come do my interview. He already started with that animosity and that type of energy. He came with those intentions. Then once he got up there, you know what I'm saying? Look, coming in the white suit and all that, he knew what he was doing. He had every intentions on crying in that video. Like, real talk. What? He had every intentions on crying.
So coming in a white suit is an indication that you about to cry? What the fuck are we? Come on, man.
I don't care. Look it up,
bro. Your logic got to be a whole lot better than that, man. You
look it up.
Facts
I'm trying to.
You said you are law, facts, and law, and everything you just said was an opinion.
Nah, listen.
We all giving opinions. We don't know that man mental. Everyone else was opinion. What are you talking about?
I didn't get no opinion. I based everything I said off of what was actually done.
Your opinion
off based it on straight opinions and assumptions.
What opinion did I give?
You don't know. He could this. He could that.
Kill himself. He was about to. Bro, that was
no. I said, what happens to what you said? Your question you asked was, you see all these other celebrities. What are they doing? I said, we see it all the time. They be killing themselves. They die from drug overdose. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Somebody said the white suit was waterproof.
That is funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie though. On the more funny though, didn't that nigga sound like Terrence Howard though?
Well, that was because I had sped it up a little bit too, Swing.
Oh, right. Because I swear to God, I'm like, this nigga sound like Terrence Howard.
Yeah, I sped it up a little bit. We get to these couple of super chats. BZ says, my question is, where are the men that have his back? Why are we so judgmental when brothers go through this? We need to do better, fellas. Sweeney is right.
Baby Zaddy? Your name is Baby Zaddy?
Sweeney be crying every Thursday, but Tyrese can't cry at one interview. Hypocrisy.
Hey, y'all ain't never seen me break it. I ain't bust not a tear yet.
Why not? It's okay, Sweeney. Do it. It's okay.
Hey, all bullshit aside,
they got you, Sweeney.
I seriously don't cry. There ain't been a thing I've ever like outside of when I was a kid and I got a whooping, and when I got kicked.
Don't worry about it, Sweeney. It's okay, man. It's not even.
It's real hard for me to cry.
That's bullshit.
Now do I bitch a whole lot? Yeah.
Yes.
Do a whole lot of bitching from time to time, but crying, nah, it's hard for me to cry.
Why not though? It's okay though. Why
No,
not?
it's physically
Sweeney?
hard for me to cry, even when I try.
That's bullshit.
Like when my grandmother died, like I was literally in the front the pulpit trying to force tears. It's just not something that I'm able to do. I feel it. I feel the pain. I try to make the ugly face, just don't come out.
Oh, so you be trying to cry?
Yeah, I always assume that might be the proper release, but it never
First
never works
time I
out
heard
that way.
that. Usually, people try to do that in the movie scene, but you're saying you.
And Tyrese got a new movie out called 1992. He know what he was on.
Hey, that movie looked good, bro. Have you
I
seen
thought
that?
that was the year his mama died. How he kept saying 1992 in the middle of him crying, but he was promoting the movie.
He's promoting the movie, yeah.
He understood the assignment.
All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Catch us next Thursday. The like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel.